Penta-kill for Sun Prodigy! Skies to the grave! Quadra kill, but so was! The Spirit of the Nine wins!
It's still alive! Who is the first to fall? It is Cardeffect's first blood!
The X connects onto the Hades! Down he goes!
Able to take down 2, able to take down 3.
Adding them up, keeping them there, and it's a pentakill!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to OSL Olympus Smite League. The Athens Division semifinals are upon us, and we're here to talk about it. My name's Morty. We've got the Nova Shark behind the scenes and Musey with me here in the booth. What's going on, Muse?
Not too much. Very excited to get into today's game. Semifinals means that there are going to be some longer days ahead of us. It's a best of 5, Morty, between the Warriors of Albion and the Food Fighters. So I am very excited to jump into this set. I mean, Food Fighters has been a team that has been incredibly dominant the entire season through, and Warriors of Albion, we've been following them for quite a bit now. Killcam Kenny and his brigade have been able to break the curse of being here on Smite Game last week. The question is, can they repeat that magic against what is one of the favorite teams to take the whole thing?
And there's definitely a lot to talk about with some of the players on these teams, right? I mean, you already mentioned it, but there's some big hitters between both sides. But before we get on to the rosters, picks and bans and such, we have a couple things to look at. We want to talk about the grand prizing. What is this all for? What's going down at the very end? It is a $2,500 grand prize to the #1 team and $1,000 to the second place. So to even get first or second, you've got to make it to the final. So winning this is important.
If you want to get any kind of dollar bills, real American dollars, you have to get through this set. And I do want to talk a bit about some of the heavier hitters that we have on each side, but you can't talk about it without talking about OSL. You want to get your chance to get in here, get into some of these games, dude. Scan that QR code, jump in. Even I'm getting in there playing some games more. Had my Delphi season run. Super, super fun. You get a chance to meet so many people here in OSL. It is a great time. Do not hold back. Be sure to join the Discords. You can get in on the ground floor for the next season.
Unfortunately, we do not have the date for the signups, but they are still to be determined. And once they are live, you'll know in that Discord. So again, be sure to sign. I think Musey hit it right on the nose, right? I mean, you meet a lot of fun people. It's a fun experience, right? If you've been playing competitive Smite for a while and you're looking to up your game to the next level, I mean, this is where the creme de la creme, the best of the best are playing. So this is definitely where you want to take your talents. But on to the game ahead of us right here, right now. Warriors of Albion up against Food Fighters, Athens Division semifinals. And we got the rosters down below, Musey. I mean, what do you know about these guys?
I mean, let's talk about some of the cream that we were mentioning before, right? Snatty versus Sunprod. This is like Hydrogen Bomb versus a second younger Hydrogen Bomb, right? Like Coughing Bomb, Hydrogen Baby combination, right? But the points of power in both these teams are not quite aligned. Snatty, being the team captain of Warriors of Albion, is going to be over in the solo lane, whereas Sunprod, team captain of the Food Fighters, will be controlling through the jungle. So very excited to see how that goes. My eyes in particular are on the dual lane. Hostile Puppy was making my life miserable when I was in some casual games not that long ago. So I know they've got that sauce in them still, but the Killcam Kenny Inferno dual lane has been looking really solid, especially last week. Inferno was putting in crazy numbers.
And on the other side of that, Hostile Puppy, who's been a sport player for quite some time. If you've ever watched OSL Cast and the Olympus Smite Twitch channel, then you've probably seen Hostile Puppy on there once or twice. And Kaveka, who's one of my favorite players from not just OSL, but from Smite Prime as well. I mean, this is somebody who likes to go against the grain, right? There's a lot of carries out there that say, what is Doug building? What is Zatman building? Okay, I'll build that. But Kaveka likes to do a bit of original cooks on his own, and sometimes he'd be cooking. I'll tell you, he'd definitely be cooking. So be sure to check the builds as we get throughout the game. I'm sure he's going to have some stuff you may or may not have seen before, but if you're a carry player looking for what should I be running on Ishtar, on whatever else, that's where you go. But bans already coming through. Cerberus, Daji, and Discordia for the side of Warriors of Albion. We've taken away Jing Wei, Hu Yi. A lot of focus on getting picks away from Inferno specifically.
Yes, I mean, Jingwei is one of those characters that hits incredibly hard right now. Aura on Spectral Armor cannot save you if you are a lone squishy kind of running through the woods. Jingwei is great at chasing down and just being able to deal tons of damage. This is going to leave
Mhm.
some other picks open and available, though I know Kerberos has been something that WoA has been looking towards
They will
recently,
all
but
obey their
unbanned recently
goddess.
was the Ishtar aspect, Mort, and ugh, she smacks really, really hard.
And speaking of one of those original cooks, I feel like Kaveko is one of the first carries I saw utilizing the aspect of the Passionate Storm on
Mhm.
Ishtar and carry lane, right? I mean, we talked about it before, on Titan Talk. We heard Rocky say it's great for arena or maybe throw it in the jungle, but everyone else is saying, nah, we'll try carry. And it's been very prominent since dropping that attack speed stem with imbue arrows is so powerful. You get so much attack speed. You're kind of just like constantly dealing damage in a cone, right? It's like do 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 do. It's a machine
Winning or
gun. So
losing
we'll
doesn't
see it in
matter.
action as
We
Ardio
all
is going to
shall
join the battle
return
for
to
food
nature in the
fighters. I'm
end.
assuming that's their
My
solo
blood
lane pick.
runs cold.
Yeah, Ardio has been one of those characters that did not care too much about the change to Bumba's Cudgel. She has 6 abilities to throw at an enemy laner: a cripple, a stun, a root, tons of damage, crazy sustain, plus Snatty looks really good on that Ardio pick, so I can appreciate John Rowing taking that away from
Yeah.
them. And Sobek pretty strong as well. I like Sobek into the Ishtar just because Ishtar only has like the one dash, and it's a very aggressive dash as well. Sobek can
Mhm.
kind of keep up with it. And also, Lurking Waters is a great tool if the Ishtar decides to throw out their own ultimate for a bit of CC immunity.
Yeah, I really like the Sobek into the Ardio. You've got a lot of, the pluck and then lock them down from there. The cripple field from entangling vines lets them not
Face
dash
the
away
wrath of a
after getting
sorceress
plucked. And then you've got
scorned.
stuns to follow up as well through the bear roar. A lot to love about the crowd control for food fighters. We'll see how their damage delivers as they get later on in the draft. For now, we can look at Jormungandr for Snatty, which is an interesting one for sure. I don't see him run the Yorm too much, at least not on Prime or anywhere else.
I mean, Jormungandr is one of those characters. I think NavG said it pretty well. They neutralize a lane, right?
Mhm.
Jormungandr is really good at clearing. And if you're good at clearing in solo lane, that kind of gives you some inherent leverage over the lane. So you're able to look at rocks and clear that pretty effectively. I know Yorm's really good at solo clearing rocks, really good at
Mhm.
solo clearing the gold
Another
camp.
performance
So,
already.
and
I guess
doesn't
they
care
can't
too
get
much
enough of
about what
me.
Ardio does, doesn't worry about the cripple or anything like that. So he boxes into it pretty well.
The Awilix getting picked up here is interesting because I feel like we're at a good state
I
with
will
Awilix right
hunt
now.
you
There was a lot of
down.
propaganda being thrown around about Awilix is bad,
Wisdom
Awilix is
shall
bad,
be my
Awilix is not
shield.
good, and then Lamb's always playing her, and then Sunprod plays her, and then another jungler plays her. Next thing you know, Awilix is good again. So excited to see her back in. Sunprod loves that Awilix pick, and can make it look so good. We
Time to
easily can see a double-digit game as far as kills go from Sunprod here, but Mordred and Athena to finish off the draft for Warriors of Albion. And Agni is going to be the final selection for food fighters. 5-on-5 here, Muse. What are we looking at? Who's our team fight comp?
Well, I'm really looking at this Awilix right now and wondering where she finds her value outside of the Sobek, right? I feel like what made Awilix so strong as a jungler was her position of being a good counter pick. I know Sunprod really likes to run it down with this jungler, but I think Ishtar is going to be the only character that is maybe scared of her inherently because she flies into the air briefly. So that's where Awilix really comes in clutch. When it
Yeah.
comes to the team fights as a whole, I think the team identities for both of these teams are pretty well thought through. Warriors of Albion, right? You've got Mordred, Athena, Jormungandr. That's a lot of dive potential. Plus, this Mordred going into the jungle means that WoA has the ability to solo out objectives with just Mordred. The lifesteal Mordred build has been on the rise because people remembered, hey, you have 100% damage scaling on your other sword as Mordred, right? So you're in your auto attack chamber, you go, yeah, 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 right? Two of those autos are going to hit wildly hard, and then you get a crazy amount of life steal from it, and attack speed stem as well. So he's really good at shredding down things like the Moonlight Queen Naga, even a Fire Giant come late game. So food fighters with their comp needs to make sure that they are keeping wards and eyes out for that Mordred. I mean, you have a ton of CC, great setup, like you said, Mort. When Sobek plucks somebody in, if the Ardio is around, if the Awilix around, the Agni Apollo, everybody has really solid CC to kind of follow up and make sure that they stay pinned.
And here we are going live into the game. Game 1. It is a best of 5. Keep in mind for the semifinals of the Athens division, Warriors of Albion up against the Food Fighters. And my name's Morty. Musi with me here in the booth, and Nova Shark behind the scenes making all these pretty colors you see on screen happen. And Musi, now that we've got our aces in our places, what do you think?
I mean, it is kind of what we expected. I'm curious to see how Stewie is going to do against Sunprod, especially in the jungle. Solos are where we thought they would be. And in the dual lane, we do see that Inferno is with that Ishtar aspect. And to touch on that really briefly, right? She has shotgun autos, but it's worth noting too that they just do so much damage to the wave, and you still get crazy value off of building things like crit or item proc or anything like that. She just bursts somebody down incredibly quickly with that aspect of the Passionate Storm.
Yeah, a lot to love about having that over in duo. You're going to have a lot of attack speed damage. The burn on objectives, the burn on tanky gods like John Rowing. Oh, first blood going down in duo lane? No way. That's a kill for Hostile Puppy. Looking for another, but Kaveka's extremely low. Kenny's going to have to dash away. I don't think there's a world where Kenny picks up the kill, so Kaveka feels fine going for Kenny, but no pluck left.
I have to assume that Food Fighters hit level 2 before Warriors of Albion, and you get plucked as an Ishtar, you don't have a dash. That is unfortunate for you. Quick 500 gold. It did go to Hostile Puppy, but that's a really good time.
Very nice taunt indeed, followed by the Jolt, which does a little bit of damage, but Puppy's still okay. Meanwhile, a skirmish by middle lane. Paris is able to take down Stallone. Stewie's looking for revenge, a dash forward, and Stewie's on fire, able to take down Paris. Sunprod looking for revenge, forces beads away. The backflip to take Sunprod under tower, takes one tower shot, and then walks away. Stewie is very low. Sunprod low as well, but a skirmish over here in duo lane finds the taunt. Very low health. Hostile Puppy gets shielded and walks away, but dashing forward. Kaveka really wants this kill, but a tail whip will lock down Inferno. Kaveka's able to put on the juke shoes and get out of that one. Kenny's gonna throw down the 3, but it won't save you there either. Kaveka gets a double kill.
A bit of a disastrous start here for Warriors of Albion. Paris looks like he's going to be next on the chopping block, though. Stallone will find their get back. So, Woa, not all hope is lost. But I will tell you right now, this Sobek having 2 kills out the gate is kind of stressful for this Woa duo lane. I mean, we were talking about how Inferno is going to be this huge cannon, this massive problem on the map, but FF is already handling it pretty well, and I'm excited to see when Sunprod decides to come over and gank this dual lane, because if they're already down, dude, you might as well put them down further and look for a Gold Fury.
Oh, Luck lands, forces beads away, and a taunt in response, followed by the Rolling Thunder. Does find a Mez. Kenny dashes forward, and a lot of damage thrown on to Kaveka, but I don't think we see any kills unfold. But a very aggressive dual lane, also an aggressive solo lane over here, able to find a double knockup. Sandy leaps up 2, but Sunprod and Rowing are fighting for Stewie's life, and they're able to find it. Throws down the 1, so Snaddy can get revenge. 1 for 1 so far, both junglers dead, and John Rowing is low, but probably won't fall here. Snaddy isn't going to dive that tower.
So one of the things to remember too about this Mordred jungle is you are a lot squishier than you are used to when you're playing him over in solo lane, right? You're not building prots on this guy. You are, I mean, you've got the killing stone already. So we're speccing into that damage. We're speccing to get even more of it online. So Stewie will make up for that later on in the game once they get lifesteal in some more effective health, in the sense that we're going to be hitting people a lot. And once we have this Mordred ultimate as well, he like full heals if he hits somebody while they're low. It is kind of crazy damage numbers that we get to see coming out of this jungle pick, but it has to get online first. And if we're scrapping this hard, we're not spending a lot of time focusing on the farm, which I really think the Mordred needs.
You know who has been focusing on the farm is Snaddy, able to go over to Firebrands and get a good round of those. And I love the fact that Snaddy, out of anybody on the side of Warriors of Albion, is getting those fire rocks where you get strength and intelligence. And Yorm is somewhat hybrid scaling, right? His abilities scale off of intelligence, obviously, but you want your basic attacks to hurt, and having that additional strength is going to make it that much easier for you to lane bully John Rowing over here. So great, a great pickup for Snaddy.
Let's look at Snaddy as well. I'm kind of interested in the build that we're going here. Are we doing a Void Stone? That's kind of cool. That's kind of saucy, right? Gem and Circular Protection. It's got low gold cost, gives you solid stats, and reduces protections when you are within a certain range, so that could give Snatty a little boost he needs against a magical target like RDO.
Stewie going in, but getting taken down right after, gets knocked into the air. Sunprod able to find revenge, and look at Kaveka in the air, and lands down with the chariot, forces out Defender of Olympus, but a pluck will make sure that Stallone falls here. Kenny is just hiding in their tower saying, sorry, I'm a little late to the party, but 2 kills for Food Fighters, and they're gonna go for gold after that, it looks like.
I mean, if not gold, at least the Oracle. Solo Dolo in the solo lane. Snatty finds John Rowing. And that is what the Jormungandr is capable of doing. Just a ton of damage in the lane. That is very hard to fight against, especially when he can hit that damage while also hitting the wave. And to the point of that kill over in middle lane, the fact that we are already getting rotations from our global ultimate with this Apollo, a lot of that has to do with the fact that Food Fighters dual lane can dip out of the lane for a second, go right back to farming because they've already put this WoA dual lane down to such a degree where it's like, you got to be scared of what I can do, and you need to get back on that farm game. Otherwise, my crops will out-yield yours.
You know, I agree with you 100%, but I think that you want to stay over in duo to get the Transcendence stacked up. Wait, that's a Sphere of Negation early on first as Stewie fights with Sunprod for the Firebrands, and looks like Stewie got most of them. Yeah, that's a crazy pickup too. I think the Voidstone would have been nice, but this is just as good, right?
I mean, it is really solid because RDO base damage numbers, a lot of how she does her damage is spamming abilities at you. A small little shield from a Sphere Negation might not look like much, but it's good for eating up a couple of those abilities, and that lets Snatty trade into her very effectively. And the fact that it's constantly refilling too, and you also get instats to go with your spit, it's just all around a good pickup.
Hostile Puppy looking for that purple buff, but Stewie and Kenny are rotating over. 3-on-3, a great gravity surge following the pluck will take Stewie extremely low, and he's gonna have to use his ult to get out of there, and that's exactly what he does. But Kaveka's hopping onto the chariot. We're looking for that kill. You don't get to hide under tower. There's nowhere to hide from Kaveka. A great kill for Food Fighters. Lurking in the waters, tanks the tower so they can escape. Food Fighters did get one, and they walk away right after. Looks like purple buff got dropped, but picked up by Inferno.
Good gank there from Food Fighters. Less of a gank, more of a trap lying in wait, which is very fitting for a Sobek, I feel. But also being able to get some more, assist gold to Sunpride, getting value out of that Awilix ultimate. Food Fighters have been doing a good job kind of finding and picking fights to do on their own terms. You'll notice Stewie still didn't have beads from the last engagement, so it was just a rough time for the Mordred.
2-on-2 in the mid lane, very low health for Paris, but still able to take down Kenny, who was trying to tank the beacon in mid lane, but didn't exactly work out well. They didn't have the numbers for it, but rotating over is Snatty, who looks to even out the numbers as Hostile Puppy shows up. It's still 3-on-2, but Snatty's very strong right now. Make it 3 as Stewie just got back, and I think the numbers game is favoring Food Fighter still, now that they've got 4. Everybody's showing up for the party in mid lane. That's why they call it the Party Rockers, right? Party Rockers in the house tonight. John Rowing chasing down Snatty, going back to the solo tower, but surely this is a result of kill, right?
No, Snatty's going to be able to get away from that, but it will result in Food Fighters walking away with the Party Rockers Ritual trademark pending. So now we have some pushers coming down onto the lane, and they immediately pop that consumable. So now we have vision on people, so we can set up for a gank here in the dual lane potentially.
Looks like it's 2-on-1. This is a really bad spot for Kaveka because their support's not around. Kaveka getting chased into the jungle. Kenny can't find the kill. Around the corner, Sunprod, who hops over the wall, but forces out Defender of Olympus. So a good shield will save Inferno's life. Nobody's falling in dual lane right now.
But Sunprod's still kind of hanging around in the area, and Kaveka still has their ultimate, so you could see a Food Fighters re-engagement here, or they could maybe just take a couple of steps back. Still kind of worried about the positioning of Kaveka, who has been doing a good job to keep their stacks up. I see we do have that Transcendence online, and with that Sash plus bow, I have to imagine we're going to be taking a look at that Sunbeam bow around the corner. Surely it's not an Executioner. God, I hope it's not an Executioner, Kaveka. It's just not as great, but what really works with the Sunbeam bow is that the mana drain isn't per auto, it's just a set amount of time, so when Apollo is able to get his passive, it's crazy damage.
Crazy damage indeed, as crazy sustain from Salone will keep them alive. Going for a dive there with Sunprod, but realizes it's probably not feasible. We force the ult out. I'll just walk away from there. I'll be back later, as we're 10 minutes into this game, 4-9. Warriors of Albion are down just a little bit. Food Fighters have 5 kills over their opponents, along with the 2.5K gold lead. I don't think that Warriors of Albion are down by any means, really. This amount of gold early on can be a little bit of a difference when it comes to these early skirmishes around Firebrands, Gold Fury, but it's still a pretty even game.
Yeah, it's not too bad if you're Warriors of Albion. You just have to be pickier about the fights that you want to choose. If you're Food Fighters, though, I mean, we hit some important power spikes, right? We do have that Sunbeam bow in line for the Apollo, so we can take a look at this Gold Fury. The burn is on, and Warriors of Albion are in the area.
Check out Sunprod hovering in the wings. It's down to half health on the gold. Warriors of Albion slowly but surely starting to group. Food Fighters realize how many numbers are there, so we'll just go ahead and we'll drop it. That's the smart thing to do, right? We don't want to risk that getting stolen, so everybody walks away from it. Nobody's getting gold for now.
I mean, if you don't lose it, the other team can't get it, right? 1 + 1 does in fact equal 2. I do like the patience there from Food Fighters, knowing that they are not in a position where they have to force anything. Even if you're ahead by like a couple thousand gold, you're still ahead. So you can play this really patiently. Go for the repull here. I don't hate this either, but you just have to be careful that you don't get jumped on by the Woa dive.
Well, we'll have 3. They've got 4 now. Stallone's walking over. So again, Food Fighters investing a lot of time into something that just isn't going to happen, right? You need to find a kill, a pick first. And considering Sunprod's on the Awilix, I think it's pretty easy to find a pick. You just got to walk into the jungle and try and find somebody. We've already proven that Stewie can fall pretty easily if Sunprod gets exactly where he needs to be, right? You know, a good knock up and everything else. That's a pretty easy kill for Sunprod. You just got to go and get it. As the Oracles fall, now Food Fighters have vision on gold.
What I really enjoy about the back-to-back Gold Fury pulls is Food Fighters is asking Woa a pretty simple question. What are you going to do about it, right? You're a little bit behind. Are you scared of us? Are you going to make something happen here? Or are you just going to let us walk away with this? The fact that Woa turns up every single time, the fact that Food Fighter still tries to go for it, I think overall is good stuff. Kind of like that damage on top of that Awilix. Holy moly. That's a beads down from Sunprod.
Yeah, it's a good beads pool. That's going to make Sunprod's fighting a little bit harder, considering, you know, if you're focused down, you don't have that crowd control immunity. There's no natural CC immune really within a Willis's kit, hardly at all, very little, right? So it's just not going to happen without the beads. You've got to be very careful on what fights you pick. I think Sunprod would have been a little more confident going into the jungle, stealing some camps with beads online, but now you've got to play it safe, let the relic come back up, and we'll fight for something later on. Firebrand's about to spawn, Pyromancer up as well, and Gold Fury, a lot of objectives for them to look at. But yeah, what is Ardio doing?
Caught her.
Whoa, my goodness, you're forcing the ult and Defender of Olympus, but the damage from Paris is too much for them to handle. Caught lazy backing in your own jungle. John Rowing says, nah, I knew about this from the get-go.
That pathing that John Rowing took, he went all the way around. Yeah. But the flip side of this is that for once, Woa isn't in the left side. So now it's a speedy burn on this Gold Fury, and Inferno has to decide if he wants to contest it. But there's not enough people around, so Food Fighters will take the trade of the Gold Fury for the cost of their friend.
Okay, well, you know what? I think it's worth.
Oh yeah, it's 100% worth. It's Stallone does not belong to Food Fighters. Oh no, that's just really bad for Woa all around.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Gulp?
This is
Reading's hard.
Whoa. Woa did take a bit of an L there. They're now down 4K at the 14-minute mark, and it's starting to increase a little bit. That snowball could fit in your hand before, right? But now it's kind of like, oh, I got to use both arms to carry this. How big can this snowball get for Food Fighters? We'll see if Woa has any type of response. As the Chariot's forced away, Stewie was around the corner and tried to ult in, but the Chariot saved Kaveka's life barely in the nick of time.
I mean, if Woa is able to scale towards this late game, they have some heavy hitters to get to that point, right? Inferno is already dealing a solid amount of damage. Now Snatty's getting jumped on in the solo lane.
If the knockup doesn't land, because Yorm can get knocked up, but Snatty trying to escape back to the tower, forces the ult away. The World Serpent will Be a little fitting to find Snatty some safety, but the rest of the team is looking at this Queen Naga that spawns in about 30 seconds or so. A lot of objective on the right side of the map. One last round of Firebrands, but a taunt in mid lane puts Paris out of position and a lot of damage being suffered. Paris is extremely low, but no dot damage means that Paris is fine. Throws the stun over the wall, followed by a pluck from Hostile Puppy. Stewie's in a bad way, but the heart slash roots him for a moment, and dashing forward, can you find the taunt? It is up. But we're going for the kill on Paris instead. The reach kill was huge there. Kenny just sneaking one in on Paris right when they weren't looking. A great way to invest your resources there. I mean, you would think reach doesn't do that much damage, but it barely did enough to get the kill.
Tell you what it does have. It's got a solid amount of reach. Up top, yeah!
Wow, that's good.
I got the sunglasses on and everything there. I also want to check in on the builds now that we had a chance to see the Mordred get some action in there, right? Bracer of the Abyss and Typhon's Heart. That's right. We got Mike Typhon up in this match again. 80 int, 7.5 lifesteal, and when you get enough minion kills or a god kill, you summon your little Mike Typhon guy. Really good for this Mordred. Once we get that Mike Typhon, we can start looking at objectives. It tanks it, but also, if you get him big enough, this Mike Typhon starts soloing gods, right? So this is the snowball that you want for WoA. We need to get some kills for Stewie. We need to get Mike Typhon up and running, and then just let this Mordred run at people. It will be hilarious if it happens.
Well, we'll see if it happens. What is happening now is the burn on the Queen Naga. Stewie taking it away, but the fact that Food Fighters have a couple members around, great warding from WoA, gives them early access to the fact that, hey, Food Fighters are walking over. Sunprod is going to start the burn back on it because it doesn't regen health, and WoA burned it a little bit, but they're going to pick up on the rest. Food Fighters are going to get this Queen Naga scotch-free is what it seems like. WoA didn't have the numbers to contest, so a huge pull for Food Fighters. That's permanent strength and intelligence for the rest of the match, along with the ritual of the Star Strike.
Yes, 5% strength and intelligence. Thank you, Nova. And the Star Strike ritual is really handy to pop in the middle of a team fight, or even if you just want to quickly burn down an objective, which Food Fighters doesn't need too much help in that regard. They have quite a bit of damage on board as WoA decides they want to contest for the Party Rockers. Good taunt to start.
Well, it's going to be the follow-up. A lot of poke damage thrown around. We've got a couple low health bars on each team as Snatty and Rowing both rotating over. Rowing's going to get there first as the Party Rockers still getting fought over. A little bit more favor for WoA right now, but Food Fighters have numbers here. Very low health on kill cam Kenny, and he's put on the kill cam. Rowing is able to get that kill locked down as well. Inferno's in trouble. Could get Exied at just any moment as Kveka picks up one. Stallone kills Puppy, but no Exi found. Rowing kills Inferno, though, and Sunprod in the air takes down Stallone. Look at Snatty alone under the tower. That's going to be a deicide for Food Fighters, their first of the game, as they get the ritual and then march their way towards Fire Giant.
The timing could not be worse for Warriors of Albion there. Unfortunate. Food Fighters are able to really take these fights and turn them into something more. Earlier in the game, we find a pick off mid, immediately turns into a Gold Fury. Now, we find our deicide just as Fire Giant comes up. Yes, please, thank you so much. And these Food Fighters players are going to be hitting some even more significant power spikes that I already think we're seeing some of the greater differences here in terms of what they're capable of. Kveka has been rocking it with this Apollo. The Sunbeam Bow came online, and suddenly this Apollo is just swinging for the fences. Now we have also Tierfing, Titan's Bane around the corner. It's Stallone and Paris are rocking very similar builds, but Paris is going to be a little bit ahead, especially now that we have some penetration there too. This Totem of Death is so good on a character like Agni because you can immediately get all the hits you need to stack it up to the max to really start to shred away those protections, and that just opens the door for Sunprod and, you know, Kveka to really get their damage in. It is just very troublesome for WoA to fight back into this, and Food Fighters are already playing the map very well here too. It's going to be another Gold Fury going their way.
19 minutes in, and a gold lead for Food Fighters favors them almost 10K. I think we'll call it 9 or so. And now they're up 9 kills over WoA. Food Fighters are getting to the point where the snowball's a little bit rough. It's a little too big for WoA to just handle as they willy-nilly. We're seeing a gank over in solo lane. Stewie and Kenny and Snatty all diving for just John Rowing, but that bear is quite tanky. He's got a lot of healing too, just chasing everybody around solo lane. It took forever for Rowing to fall there, and that investment of resources let Sunprod clean up Stallone on the other side of the map. So an eye for an eye, but a little more of an eye for Food Fighters. They got the mid lane tower. They got the left lane tier 2 as well. That's a lot of gold, and now hopping into the chariot. Where is Kaveka going?
We could clean up this tier 2 in the mid and group up with the rest of our squad here. If you're Food Fighters, you do still have Fire Giant for another 2 minutes or so. You could look at a mid Phoenix push, but no bombs is gonna mean that maybe we take a look at the Pyro instead, just because the siege can get a little bit dicey. You know, time to talk about how WoA can handle a siege against Food Fighters. You've got great area damage with your Jormungandr, and naturally with Inferno on Shotgun Ishtar, as the Pyromancer is confirmed there by Food Fighters. But it's Stallone. This Morgan Le Fay pick does quite a bit, right? Not only do you embrace the Burning Shroud, you just have a bunch of CC and a lot of movement. And now that we have our Rada Tahuti online with our Soul Reaver, Stallone's able to do a crazy amount of poke damage and just constantly throw out abilities. And if Food Fighters gets a little too big for the britches, a taunt into damage does wonders.
A lot of damage thrown towards Food Fighters. Look at Stewie going straight for Kaveka, finds the knockup, takes him for a ride. The Rolling Thunder thrown down to find the Mez. Stewie able to clean up on Kaveka, and Kenny gets Hostile Puppy. That's both dual lane members down for Food Fighters. Paris rotates over, but gonna be a little late. There's not much fight to be had.
Taunt, dash, find it. Agni in danger.
Whoa, my goodness, but hopping up into the hard slash, does it land? Stewie's not able to get it. Paris chased under the tower. Low health bars again for WoA, a lot lower than they once were, but not able to clean up any kills. Paris is going to have to give up that tier 1 for free. I mean, you want to say there's 3 gods over, I'd say 4 with Mike. Look at how big he is.
As I say, it's time to address the Typhon in the room, right? Like, it's a big old puppy dog trailing along with Stewie. And when it gets this big, it is not a small amount of health that you need to be able to chunk away. And what it can also do is just take hits for Stewie. You get to hide behind it, so it can eat autos from Kaveka. It can interrupt what Sunprod wants to do. Oh, he's tiny again. Oh, well, that's all right. We'll get there. The jungler will be able to make him big. But WoA had some good kills there. Not only were we able to super group up, find John Rowing earlier, then we follow it up with a solid couple of kills in dueling as well. We still have all our birds. There's still a tier 2 up in solo side. Food Fighters had a really solid chain of events going their way. They do have a really respectable gold lead, but there is signs of life in this WoA team right now, showing that they are not willing to give up, and they have a solid amount of CC. They have a good game plan. They've got good dive to be able to go in and find the right targets. I think if you find and kill Kaveka, this game gets very easy for WoA. They just have to be able to execute on that and do it.
I'm looking at this build for John Rowing and all of this investment into extra relics. You've got the combat blink to get you out of harm's way. You've got the extra big shield for extra mitigation and everything else for not just you, but for the team as well. That is going to be one tanky bear. And the fact that you've got so many protections with that build as well, Spirit Rogue gives you a lot, along with the hide of the Nemean line thrown down. A lot of fizz prots, so Inferno, Stewie are all going to have a really hard time up against specifically John Rowing, but the fact that there's more magical on WoA shocks me a little bit with so much investment into the physical prots there as Kaveka is soloing the Gold Fury, and he's going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that Apollo is just allowed to do, right? And with the Audibo right around the corner, we've got plenty of attack speed to make it work. Fire Giant being up on the opposite side of the map means that WoA needs to stand there to make sure that Food Fighters don't do it. Because of that, Food Fighters sneak away a Gold Fury, courtesy of Kaveka. But this could open up potential for WoA. You know the Apollo's out of commission for a little bit of time. Maybe you could risk a Pyromancer or a Fire Pull, but when they're down this far, 10k territory, we're kind of playing it as safe as we can so far. Waiting for Kaveka to show up on those minions, though. Just because that Apollo has ultimate doesn't mean that he's not worth addressing, because he has to spend so much mana on that Sunbeam bow. That's why he's gonna back. Can Inferno get there in time? Unfortunately not.
Unfortunately not. 24 minutes into the game and a lot more objective to fight over. We're going to see the Ritual, the Party Rockers here in just a moment. The Pyromancer's up for taking and the Fire Giant as well. And 3 Gold Fury pips for fighters mean that WOA need any Gold Fury they can get their hands on, right? I mean, that push from Food Fighters is going to be huge whenever they try it, thanks to those the true damage on structures and more protections that you gain as well. I think their siege is going to be immaculate. Pyromancer getting taken down. Food Fighters have 3, but so do WOA. Kveka is able to secure the Pyro 3-on-3, and Kveka secures it. He goes in for the Mez. Snatty's in trouble. Maybe gets chased down. Snatty's awful tanky though, but force into the World Serpent, but the burn damage from Paris is going to make Snatty fall while he's trying to ult away. And now that WOAs are down 1, maybe make it 2 as Rowing is running down Kill Cam Kenny. Stallone's there to provide a little bit of peel, but the Bear Dash will get Rowing away for a moment. No taunt online for Kenny to find a pole. But look into the back line. Look at Sunprod. Look at them go. Paris is throwing damage out, and Stewie's able to clean up on Sunprod. Open the back line. Stewie's still fighting, and Mike Typhon's looking for some blood as well. Kveka goes in. Kenny teleports over just to put himself out of position, but Stallone finally took down Rowing. All of that investment into Rowing just made it so easy for the rest of Food Fighters to really kill whoever they looked at, as Rowing is just a one-man band, just denying access to the entire backline of WOA.
And not only that, it was a little odd. WOA, the Stewie goes straight towards the backline of the Food Fighters and is kind of left in no man's land by himself as Food Fighters kind of turns around and handles this Mordred. But what this WOA team has in spades, especially in their backliner, is a lot of self-peel. We talked about this Morgan Le Fay and how she can do a ton of CC. That's great not only for siege defenses, but also for when she gets jumped on by something like an Artio, by something like an Owelik. So speaking of getting jumped on here, looks like Morgan Le Fay and Snatty. We got to take a couple of steps back while I talk about this mage a bit more, but very hard to go on top of her, very hard to stay on top of her. And if Inferno stands next to her, it is incredibly punishing to get hit by a fear, to get hit by a knockup, because Inferno is at this point really ready to shred through you. We have the Titan's Bane online, Frenzy Dagger, and Devo stacked up, ready to go. We just need to get Inferno to some degree of safety so that this Ishtar aspect can eat people alive. It can happen.
Stewie goes into the ult, looking to chase down 1, pursue the weak, but nobody feels weak on the side of Food Fighters. They stun away WOA, so they can't find an engage whatsoever. Looking for a pick, but it could not happen. It's a big ult invested down, but Heart Slash is still ready to go for Stewie as they take down Mike before the battle gets a little out of hand. Food Fighters are ready for anything at this point.
Kind of hanging around this FG pit. Sunprod does still have their ultimate available, and I'm keeping an eye on Hostile Puppy as well, because while the Sobek is not able to pluck at the Jormungandr, anybody else can do, as long as you have the proper follow-up. Positioning needs to be so important here too. More Food Fighters are really trying to press up and show a presence, and you know why? It's because Kveka's over there soloing the Gold Fury again. This is the Apollo privilege. He is allowed to do this. His Gold Fury was promised to him, and he is going to take it away. But do WOA know this? Can they get in there knowing that you have the man advantage?
No. I think they probably think the Kveka's like so far back that that he's still around, he's just not there, right? But in the meantime, no wards, no vision means that Ancient Fury goes to Food Fighters. Now there's a weakened tier 2 and a weakened bird in the middle and in the left. So busting that Titan room open is going to be a lot easier than it once was. The FG has never looked so sweet for Food Fighters.
I mean, if I've learned anything from this game so far, is that when there's an Apollo in the lobby, you need to keep wards over on the opposite side of the map so that you know when you can go in on something. But now we're dancing around this FG, and this time it's WOA who's down a person, Apollo, Uber ulting in.
But Mordred's not there either. It's a 4-on-4, and Apollo just got there. So WOA are down 1. That means green light for Food Fighters. They already picked off Snatty. Inferno is next, and Defender of Olympus pulls Kenny back. Will it barely save him? No, it won't. Kenny couldn't hit the skies before it was time to go. Food Fighters just took down 3. Now they're burning FG. Stallone and Stewie are not even going to bother showing face. That's a free fire giant if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, free at the cost of blood. Warriors of Albion just did not have the presence there to be able to handle the fight, it felt like. It feels like Food Fighters were able to split the map this game just perfectly. It is all because of what Kaveka is able to do on this Apollo pick. So you really got to hand the flowers to him, as now Woa has to set up for what could be their final defense.
I think it's what it's going to be as the mid bird falls. There's a weakened bird on the left, and Food Fighters are going to take that down first before they potentially go to end. Down one bird, and we're going to make it 2, but they're going to walk away right after. They're not going to end. They want EFG first.
Warriors of Albion did a good job not feeding into the Food Fighters there, giving up their birds and just letting it go.
Yeah.
Because had anybody from WoWa died in any of these engagements, if I'm Food Fighters, that's game. I'm going in there, right? How are you going to stop me? You're going to slow me down. So on one hand, you're WoWa. Your game isn't over. That's good. However, Food Fighters still have FG. You lost 2 birds. They're about to go spend a bunch of gold. Kaveka just finished a combat blink. That's terrifying. How are you ever killing this Apollo ever? Because they're just going to mez, dash, blink, alt away, or alt in, and do all of those things anyways. We have a contagion pickup for John Rowing. When's the last time you got to say that? Just a ton of health on this bear. Very, very difficult to kill. I mean, if you're Woa, you're really hoping that you can catch somebody out with a taunt, just completely dogpile, and fight a 5v4 after the fact, but we really just haven't been able to facilitate that at all. Food Fighters find themselves another Pyro Bomb, Pyromancer is dead.
So many things that favor Food Fighters on this next drive down the field. They're going to be going for the tier 2 on the right. Snatty's the only one there to defend, but I don't think Snatty can really say anything about it, not without some backup. But Woa are going to hide behind the bird. Snatty decides to retreat. That's probably the smarter thing to do. But can they defend this third bird, which, keep in mind, is not weakened, but dagger ready in pocket for Sunprod, runic bomb in hand for Hostile Puppy. There's a lot of tools that Food Fighters can use to make sure this bird falls. Checks Sunprod in the mid lane, looking for a distraction, but a huge knock-up. Followed by the Rolling Thunder, finds a lot of mez, and look at Snatty just roaring around, looking for damage on John Rowing, who's extremely low. Salone forces out the ultimate to find the final bit of damage needed, so Rowing will fall. Food Fighters realize, okay, we lost one. There's no reason to force this. Let's walk away.
Or we could get in the Uber. Where are we going? Shopping? Oh, Gold Fury's up. I should have known. Gold Fury's up on the map. Apollo needs to get over there. Let's talk about that defense, right? What a taunt. What a taunt from Kill Cam Kenny to really hold it down. Great follow-up from the rest of the team as well. Just able to do a ton of damage. I'm telling you right now, if Woa has like 2K, 3K more gold in their pockets and their builds, more people from FF died there. That could have been disastrous if you're Food Fighters. You cannot have another siege go like that again. You got very, very lucky.
That is a 20K gold lead for Food Fighters. I stumbled for a second because I don't think I've ever seen that big of a gold lead. That is a lot. I'm glad you brought up the gold because I'm sitting here thinking, well, it's late game. They're going to be down a little bit, right? 20K gold. This is like
gulp.
This is uh-oh territory if I've ever seen it. Well, we're down in a pretty big way, and it might not look that way through kills specifically, but a lot of objectives have gone to Food Fighters one after the other. The Queen Naga, they've got like 1 or 2 FG so far, and more than enough Gold Furies for all those pips. Ancient Furies as well, so now that right bird is weakened. There's so much in favor for Food Fighters right now. It's hard to think of a world where Woa can come back and compete in a fight in their manner. I mean, they're still trying to finish up, the 5th tier 3 item. Meanwhile, you've got full builds for like an entirety of Food Fighters.
Well, there are some things going well for Woa in this moment, right? Mid and left bird are respawning. So that means that we can show face around this FG pit, knowing that Titan isn't going to be threatened by Winions. That bird defense gives me a lot of confidence into the potential of this Woa team. Granted, some stars have to align. Food Fighters have to eat a taunt like that again, which if I'm Food Fighters, I don't want that to happen ever again, realistically. But there is space to play for Warriors of Albion. They just have to find their opportunity to get in there. EFG spawning in 10 seconds. Food Fighters is all split up again. We don't have vision on the map, and that makes me really worried.
But look at Kaveka hopping into the chariot, probably looking to take down No. We're looking to backdoor the right bird, but realizing there's people over here, I guess the Kaveka is just grabbing info. That's got to be a recon chariot, right? And I think it's a smart move as the burn begins
UAV
on
in the
EFG.
sky.
Yep, that's the UAV. Kaveka lands into the back line, but gets taunted right after. The life miner thrown forward, a bit of damage onto Kaveka from Inferno. The ult invested as well. Blades of Retribution won't find a stun, but look at Snatty chasing into the back line. Really wants Kaveka, but instead will throw some damage out and force him away. Defender of Olympus forced because Sunprod and Stewie are duking it out, but Stewie's barely able to find the kill through Heart/Paris finds revenge on not just Stewie, but Kenny as well. Down 2 members are Woa. Food Fighters only lost Sunprod, but Kaveka's quite low, but we're still investing in the burn on the EFG. We just restarted it, and Woa are down an extra member. It's John Rowing zoning in the front. How do Woa go about this?
You do still have a lot of damage between Inferno and Stallone. Snatty's got some good items here as well with that Soul Reaver, so we can ping these tanks. This Food Fighter EFG pull, as it falls down to half, it could get stolen.
It could. It very well could, because low health on both Hostile Puppy and Paris means that Snatty could just go into the
4K.
back line. It's 4K on the FG, and it's melting down quick as Inferno takes down Paris, but they trade lives. Snatty's low as well. It's down to 3K. Look who just showed up. It's Stallone. All alone, forces beads away. Consuming power won't save you. The EFG goes to Food Fighters. Granted, it only goes to 3 members, but that's still way better than none. Woa just lost everybody they have. The Pyro is going to burn here, so an extra runic bomb for somebody, but this is just the worst situation for Woa.
Not ideal, but a very solid attempt there from the Warriors of Albion to be able to get your couple kills at least. I mean, Inferno was able to trade out with Paris. If we have Inferno for that final engagement, this very well could have turned around for Woa. It feels like they are just shy of eking out a win in these engagements. Right now, we're just kind of settling for breaking even or, being a little bit down at the table. You lose 20 bucks playing blackjack and you go, all right, and it could have been worse. I still got a ticket home, right? Yeah, I can still get on the plane. At least I didn't lose like 3 digits worth of money inside a fish tank slot machine,
I feel like that was a jab at me because I lost 4 in Vegas, but it is what it is. We'll just go past it. I'm going to act like I didn't get slided there. I felt like a jab. That definitely felt like a jab, and it hurts a little bit in my liver, but what hurts worse... It was not a caress. It was definitely a jab, but who's in a bit of worse pain is Woa right now, as Food Fighters have 3 members with EFG belts running down this left lane, and they're looking for the bird. Every bird that Woa has up is weakened. This is big for Food Fighters as their siege begins here. The pusher goes right in. The Dragonflight's thrown out to maybe peel off Hostile Puppy, but it's not going to save the bird. Stewie kills Sunprod in the back line. Good lord. But no. Kaveka kills Stewie in revenge, so down both junglers, and Kenny's in a really rough spot. Kaveka kills Kenny. Down 2. Inferno's going to be very low. Could get chomped in just a moment. The Rolling Thunder thrown down, but it won't save you from getting eaten up by the Croc. Snatty's the only one left alive, but Food Fighters could care less about the worm. We care more about the Titan. This is game 1. It's going to the Fighters.
I mean, it was just very well played from Food Fighters from start to finish. Honestly, Hostile Puppy and Kaveka in that dual lane were putting in a crazy amount of work. I mean, this is the Sunprod team, but I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't really focused on what Sunprod was doing, right? So really solid teammates around the captain here. Paris as well, 10-4 on this Agni, just doing a lot of damage and putting in all the work necessary.
Yeah, I've been sleeping on this Agni pick, right? I mean, there's a reason why we saw Paul use it towards the end of Smite Prime. There's a reason why it's so popular for sure, but man, that is a lot of damage. Like that is a lot of, considering that, a lot of it was thrown on to Snatty and Stewie. That's really all you can reach with the poke game, right? It's just the front line, how far back you have to be as Paris. I respect that damage number a lot, but that's only game 1. This is a best of 5. You have to win 3 games to come out on top of this set. So still 2 more that Food Fighters need to win. Can we see some more life out of Woa, or will Food Fighters continue to dominate? We'll find out after a quick ad break. We'll be back in a few minutes.
They know the Jingwei's present. They managed to sidestep, pursue the weak. Excellent work by Dishonored, but they still step into the persistent gust, and that's enough to get them off kilter. Can they find the last kill? One last tremor. The shield splitter takes him out. Dishonored's a mage officially, but a heart slash is in response. A phantom shell to keep them up, and now it's King Oceans who's made their long-awaited arrival. Bari makes sure that Port Degree is safe, and the rest of the Angels aren't. King Oceans consumes their soul with the ult, but Aurora's now present. Justin who's dead, and Hydra can only watch as Oceans tries to pick up the remains.
And Dest is on 1 HP. If you get hit with this, Hydra's gonna kill you.
Execute, but amazing blowback from Dest. The Rising Dawn nearly able to make away with their life. They finish the job. Hydra cakes down the Bari, turns tail to look for Aurora, the root, the solar flail, the abduct. Labubu gets the shutdown.
Ultimate up, lock and load, Raw.
Who are we sniping? Is that the play?
Kaboom!
Gonna hit, but no good for a kill. Dest has the beats. Dest might die. Just standing there. Whoa, look at the damage from Dest. Trying
Holy-
to hold on underneath that
Help him!
Phoenix. Dest will get away. Axiom Speed respawns. There is no Tusky available for the Artemis. The whole team is here. That's a clone, Speed. That's a clone. Get away. The land from Sot. The damage. The stun. The death. The deicide. The crew kill 5. Respawns coming up. The Titan at half. Port Degree, first one here, looking for damage, looking to stall, keep the game alive. The Titan's still alive. That's a
Good
kill
kill.
on the Mario, bro. The game's
One more.
not done yet. Sticks J on the respawn, brings down Sod. Gonna look over at Wingman Ghost, and he's good as dead. The Titan lives, and the Banshees live on.
The game is saved, and we get to watch another.
House for generations to come. Thanatos in the sky. Apollo knocks on the doors of heaven and gets through the pearly gates. But now they're going to get an up-close and personal demonstration. An amazing nature's grasp. The scepter of dominion. Everyone freeze. A taunt. A cage. Can it keep him alive? No. Facehead's done.
Just happened. There was just a crazy combo. Port Degree in the face of happened. The two-man madness, and Styx finds Tagmir.
They're finding more than that. Golden gets their wings stripped. It's a triple kill near deicide. Happen spawns back only to see hell before him before Snix J escorts him through the door. A quadra kill, a deicide, wailing banshees bust the boo house.
What the hell did we just witness, D'Lo? I mean,
Okay, here's the demon from the SPL, a world champ. What do you got? Paul on the defense pushes Snix J away. He's got to go back. The rest of the team still chasing out in the right lane. They're chasing the nuke back. There's only 2 members to defend, and that Titan's down to a quarter. Paul can't chase Snix J. He's got to stay aware, Musey.
Panic Enders never prosper, but Wailing Banshees could just go for it anyways. Port Degree lands upon nobody. It's going straight to the newt.
He got him when the nude lands. Is she dead? Oh no, she's not.
Axiom!
Speed's gonna trade out. That Titan is low. Oh, from Dash, the Titan dies. The Wailing Banshees take the set away from the crew.
I am beside myself right now. You cannot, dude. Disgusting, actually disgusting. The perfect chain of events for the Wailing Band.
God, please don't let Tagmir steal this. Guys, please don't let Tagmir steal this. They're letting it go into his hands. Boo House, steal it away. Guys, I beg of you, stop handing objectives over to him. He is already well fed enough. At this point, they're stuffed.
I mean, Aurora is the veteran experience for that team, but that play is just on him. That is unfortunate.
Strong, all members up. Sot goes aggressive into the back line, looking for Axiom Speed. Can't find it. Now caught out. Skyfall gonna bring him closer.
There goes Paul.
Paul. Volcanic Lightning dives into the back line. Paul, no kills so far. Has to readjust. Typhoon with a knockup. Mario Bros starts off the killing with the kill on the Port Degree. Now everybody splits up yet again. Sot under the tower with Rabbit. Snix J gonna go down to the reach hit. Now over the wall. Aurora stuck in no man's land, and backup cannot get there to bail out the Fenrir. The dog is put down. It's a double kill for Rabbit, and 3 members are dead of the Banshees.
Health bar's pretty low, Sot and Paul, but I don't think they care too much about that.
To pop that health chalice to get some health back, but I don't think they're going to get here in time.
Skyfall, at the very least, do they decide to pop it is the question, and do they get it? Boo House manages to steal it away somehow, and Vi snipes Snix J's life as well for takeaway. An easy win, Siphon. Dest is dead. Aurora is no more. And the Skyfall's coming for you, buddy. That's gonna be trouble. Double there for Vi, and a near deicide for Boo House in 7 minutes. Hero play, they need one auto, but it's Vi who takes it for Boo House. But can they survive now? Vi can't, their first death, but it's a sacrifice that will inspire the rest of Boo House for generations to come. Thanatos in the sky, Apollo knocks on the doors of heaven and gets through the pearly gates, but now they're gonna get an up-close and personal demonstration, an amazing nature's grasp, the scepter of dominion. Everyone freeze! A taunt, a cage, can it keep him alive? No, Facehead's done!
Just happened. There was just a crazy combo port degree in the face of happened. The two-man madness, and Styx finds Tagmir.
They're finding more than that. Golden gets their wings stripped. It's a triple kill near deicide. Happen spawns back only to see hell before him before SnixJ escorts him through the door. A quadra kill, a deicide, wailing banshees bust the Boo House.
What the hell did we just witness, Deal?
We did it! We scaled! 4 stacks for Rage!
Benny takes the route, the turnaround. Tusky's out. Land down from Benny. Damage good. Kills are there. Double kill for Benny. And the rest of Kitsune. Clean Boo House. What a playback from...
They know the Jingwei's present. They manage to sidestep, pursue the weak. Excellent work by Dishonored, but they still step into the persistent gust, and that's enough to get them off kilter. Can they find the last kill? One last tremor. The shield splitter takes him out. Dishonored's a mage officially, but a heart slash is in response. A phantom shell to keep them up, and now it's King Oceans who's made their long-awaited arrival. Bari makes sure that port degree is safe, and the rest of the Angels aren't. King Oceans consumes their soul at the ult, but Aurora's now present. Justin, who's dead, and Hydra can only watch as Oceans tries to pick up the remains.
And Dest is on 1 HP. If you get hit with this, Hydra's gonna kill you.
Caprexecute, but amazing blowback from Dest. The Rising Dawn nearly able to make away with their life. They finish the job. Hydra cakes down the Bari, turns tail to look for Aurora, the root, the solar flail, the abduct. Labubu gets the shutdown.
Ultimate up! Lock and load, Raw!
Who are we sniping? Is that the play?
Kaboom!
Gonna hit, but no good for a kill. Dest has the beats. Dest might die. Just standing there. Whoa, look at the damage from Dest. Trying
Holy-
to hold on underneath that
Help him!
Phoenix. Dest will get away. Axiom Speed respawns. There is no Tusky available for the Artemis. The whole team is here. That's a clone, Speed. That's a clone. Get away. The land from Sot. The damage. The stun. The death. The deicide. The crew kill 5. Respawns coming up. The Titan at half. Port degree, first one here, looking for damage, looking to stall, keep the game alive. The Titan's still alive. That's
Good
a kill
kill.
on the Mario, bro. The game's
One more.
not done yet. SnixJ on the respawn, brings down Sun. Gonna look over at Wingman Ghost, and he's good as dead. The Titan lives, and the Banshees live on.
The game is saved, and we get to watch another.
House for generations to come. Thanatos in the sky, Apollo knocks on the doors of heaven and gets through the pearly gates, but now they're gonna get an up-close and personal demonstration, an amazing nature's grasp, the scepter of dominion.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to WOA. Up against Food Fighters here at OSL, the Athens Division Finest. They're facing each other in the semifinals to see who will make their way to the tippity top of the totem pole. If you're just now joining us, my name is Morty. We've got Nova Shark behind the scenes and Musy with me here in the booth. And man, we had a pretty good game one, didn't we?
It was pretty solid, very well executed, I believe, from Food Fighters. Very clean all the way through. There was one bad Phoenix Siege where we kind of almost beefed the whole thing, but panned out. Warriors of Albion never really had a chance to kind of have their moment, and we did use some of the more interesting picks already off the board. You could see the little grayed out squares underneath Morty and I. These god picks are no longer available. That is because of vault bans. If a god has been picked in a set, they cannot be picked again. So no more Mordred jungle, no more Wheelix jungle for Sunprod, but I think seeing the Ardeo and the Apollo locked away does make WoA feel a little bit better about their chances going forward.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, these are some signature picks that we're taking off the board. The fact that Ishtar's already gone, a very prominent carry pick right now, right? The fact that she's gone already, the fact that MLF is gone, a lot of worry picks, Apollo, what have you, are all gone off the table. That's a huge takeaway. Is don't forget, look up there, semifinals. Means this is $2,500 on the line. That's going to be going to the, yeah, it caught me off guard too. This goes to the grand winner and along with the second place prize as well, but you're not going to get first or second if you don't win this set today. So a lot of moolah on the line as the bands are pouring through. Daji's the first on the table.
Daji, Kerberos take them off the board. Just all around strong picks. I remember Food Fighters had banned out something like Jingwei and Houyi back to back. So curious to see if they want to do that again, but it's going to be the Houyi ban from WOA this go around. There are going to be some stronger picks left through. I'm very interested to see what we see is first pick worthy for Warriors of Albion, knowing that they won't have access to things like the Kerberos or the Paleth that they even have to ban for themselves. I think On Her is still kind of worth it to pick. I know he saw some nerfs, but he's a very safe ADC still that I think Inferno could do really well on. And I think that safety is what we need over in that dual lane, just because last game, Hostile Puppy and Kaveka really ran it down.
Oh, the Thor pick gets through, and that's a lot of global pressure, right? And I think it's kind of where Food Fighters had an upper hand, was the fact that Kaveka is able to hop in the chariot and bring somebody with him too, and just take off to wherever they so please, right? Oh, Ancient Fury's up. Let's go. Or let's EFG. Let's go. I need a split push. Let's get out of here. The Transcendence gave him so much mana to work with that you could just stay in the air for like minutes at a time, right? He was kind of like a UAV for a little bit, but we saw that was fun to watch. So now WOA gets to match that energy with a global pressure pick of their own, Thor, who can just hop into the air and land anywhere he wants and be a menace in whatever fight he's a part of. I love this Thor pick for WOA.
You're going to have the answer back, the Merlin and the On Her, which was a pick I was hoping to see for Inferno, but Kaveka, very, very good with this On Her pick. I wonder if they still rock that Avatar's Parashu build these days. I'm very interested to see how that could change. And Merlin in the hands of Paris, who was already dealing a crazy amount of damage with Agni and doing a lot of area denial. Merlin is right up there as terms of characters that can make use of the Bluestone, Chronos Pendant, Soul Reaver build. So Paris should feel right at home with this Merlin pick.
You only hit.
And then the response pick, Chiron. Okay. And then Ares to join as well. So assuming that's probably Thor solo for Snatty. He does love the Thor. And then Ares is going to be their support. That makes a lot of sense, right? But Chiron could go to Stallone in the mid lane. You know, that full strength build adds an extra ability to Masterful Shot, a whole lot of damage with that specific ability. Or Donut Doug has been repping this Chiron carry build that has been very prominent as well. I think this could go either way and still look strong no matter where it goes.
What I do like about this Ares pick here is that Merlin doesn't have any, displacement immunity to really deal with the Ares ultimate, no CC immunity in any parts of their kit. So that means Beads is going to be a big resource to pull from Merlin. And when you have a Thor here as well, it's another great character to really force that option away. And Chiron is really good at forcing maybe an Aegis. So I am kind of hoping for a Tsukiyomi pick for Warriors of Albion and another character that can pull Beads. And we have a really solid resource yoinking composition here for WOA.
I really like this Bacchus pickup. I'm kind of wondering where these two picks are going to go, because obviously we see Bacchus as a support more than anything, right? Which I think is the sensible pick. But John Rowing has utilized this Bacchus pick, especially with the aspect of Revelry that adds a lot more damage to his basic attacks. You get strength scaling off of Chug instead of the previous protection scaling, and then cleaving basics as well. So I think this Bacchus pick might go towards Rowing, but then it makes me wonder, Sunprod doesn't really play the Achilles. I doubt it's an Achilles support, so still kind of on the fence on where we're seeing picks go over for Food Fighters.
Meanwhile, WOAs feel pretty clear, right? Kali in the jungle, Newt in the mid lane. That means Chiron will be headed over towards ADC. And I'm making that assumption based on the fact that if we put Newt over in ADC, I don't think she does as well there as maybe the Chiron does. So I'm really hoping it's Newt mid, Chiron ADC. But again, another character that kind of forces an Aegis and a Beats kind of with Newt, depending on how you want to deal with her ultimate. And Kali is a character that kind of makes you, you get a little bit scared whenever she blinks over to you. So another solid character to kind of force resources away. I really like the engage here from Warriors of Albion, right? You've got Ares ult, you've got Thor ult, you got a Kali blink in, Newt ultimate as well. Chiron can clean up characters and shoot through walls to be able to get their damage off. So good 3-stage dive here, I think, from Woa, and really good mobility so that both Chiron and Newt can kind of keep up with the rest of their engagers as well.
And then you've got also the Ares buffs too. I mean, his passive and his 2 both grant a lot of stats that everybody from WoA can benefit from. Everybody wants harder hitting basic attack, more strength and intelligence, nothing to complain about. You're going to have all of this damage output. Their dive is going to look so good. And then Ares buffs to kind of buff the numbers a little bit more, right? I think that WoA have a really solid engage. And then we look at the counter engage from Food Fighters, right? Merlin can kind of keep space, but if he's caught out of position, there's, like you said, no immunity frames whatsoever. I mean, you're kind of just screwed if you're Merlin. There is a little more self-reliance with the Kaveka pick for on her. You've got a CC immune ultimate, you've got the jump that can take you over walls and also knock up if it lands on you the wrong way. Anhur is known as one of the most self-reliant carry picks. You can handle whatever's thrown at you, right? And I think that Kaveka will be fine, but looking at the rest of the team, this could be a little rough considering Bacchus wants to get aggressive. Achilles wants to get aggressive, but if they get thrown down on the ground first, how are they gonna respond? We'll find out as we get our way into the game. This is game 2 of a best of 5. The semifinals for the Athens division is upon us. Warriors of Albion up against Food Fighters. The score is 0-1 right now, and we'll see how it's going to get as we get into the game. Morty and Musey in the booth, Nova Shark behind the scenes. And Musey, what do you think? What looks good to you?
I mean, I'm thinking about this Food Fighters composition right now, and to your point, I think the counter engage is something to consider. Yeah, Merlin lacks a lot of the defensive tools in terms of keeping himself alive, but he can still be kind of a dicey character to jump on top of because of the amount of damage that he could just throw at his feet and make the area directly adjacent to him an issue for anybody that wants to go in. I look at this Food Fighters composition and I see something a little bit more akin to almost a front to back, honestly, where Sun Prod and John Rowing will be moving together to kind of be that aggressive package to go after the Warriors of Albion backline in response to Boa trying to find a purchase on top of Paris, Puppy, and Kaveka, who kind of have to stick together to cover for each other in order to deal with the 1-2-3 punch that Woa is able to take a look at them. Speaking of taking a look at things more, I mean, I always like to take a look at these relics, and the blink that Stewie has stuck out to me right away. Very aggressive, so we are going for like blink engages from this Kali, which is good. She blink engage, can jump away if things get dicey, but this means we don't have beads to deal with this aspect Hunbots that Sunprod is rocking, so a lot of easy CC to apply there, and that Fear No Evil being right around the corner. Stewie needs to be very careful in terms of positioning and make sure that Food Fighters do not have the proper counter engage resources when this Kali wants to go in.
I was listening to you talking, that we went back to solo, and I saw John Rowing at 100 health, and I said, oh, and now I'm seeing Killcam Kenny gets done, and I'm saying, oh, again, we're getting aggressive early on once more, but I'm wondering where first blood potential lies. I mean, John Rowing's real low. I mean, a gank from Stewie could easily find a kill, but now that I'm looking at the chains unfold on the Bacchus over here in duo, this could be bad news for Puppy, who gets burned down just a tad, but is A-okay for now.
Sunprod taking a look over at potentially this duo lane. I will say, no beads for Inferno or Killcam Kenny makes them ideal targets again for the same reason why this Hunbots has a good fight into the Kali. The Hunbots will have a good fight into the duo lane. How are you going to CC immune at sub-level 5, right? So I would really like to see Sunprod focus over there.
Oh,
well, goodbye, I suppose.
Okay, well, that's first blood. Goes to Paris for Food Fighters. That's a great, I mean, just a little unfortunate. I feel like Stallone is really struggling with the wave clear, right? Every time I looked over there, that is a really good hover. That's a huge first back. There's a bit of struggle for Stallone, who even with the conduit gem is having a hard time getting that same level of wave clear.
It's interesting too, because in my eyes, Newt's wave clear is really solid. I mean, we watched Paul from Smite Prime always show up to the rocks, because Newt's Quave would clear was just kind of almost better than the Merlins, but Paris has really been showing up with this Merlin pick so far. The Bluestone ticks, and that Soul Reliquary too actually helps him solve a lot of the mana problems he could potentially run into. But now we also have that Oracle Staff in the gym. Are we just going straight into Soul Reaver instead of the Chronos Pendant that we're so used to seeing?
The wall forces away the shell. It's a great play from Snatty as Rowing is able to escape back to the tier 1 tower and kind of hang out for now. Not a lot of kill potential. We're still very early on, not a lot of itemization just yet, so nobody really hurts like that. We're just kind of throwing bows and getting damage out the door and just trying to poke, you know, see what we can do to check one another. Firebrand's getting taken away. Hard to tell who got him, but I mean, it's still, there's a lot of aggression, right, to look at. The pillar pin almost went through, but thrown down right after. Inferno's fine. Very low is Kenny, but it's just fighting over wave clear.
Food Fighters pretty sure walked away with those rocks. I mean, you had the Merlin that was just in the area the whole time, and Stallone hanging out in mid lane, just keeping their farm up. And I wonder if that's going to be kind of a consistent trend here. Paris looks very, very comfortable in this mid lane, whereas Stallone maybe not as much, and that could be a point of contention for Food Fighters going up against WOA, where when you know that Paris is able to handle Stallone pretty effectively, if last game is any indication, if the first few minutes of this one is any indication, that means that Sunprod can go elsewhere or choose to really feast on this mid lane. So Food Fighters have a couple avenues to victory. Their dual lane looks really strong. Don't have a lot of beads on board for this Hunbots to be able to latch onto. You know that Paris is doing well against this Newt so far, and Paris should scale really hard into the late game. Just because they're a Merlin, you have a lot of options here, and options are not fun for WoWa to fight into.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no option where WoW was like, oh, thank goodness, right? A lot of rough options for sure. But I mean, maybe though, it looks like they're doing better at least in this game, right? Considering last game around this point, they were down a couple kills. They were down like almost 1,000 gold. This is a pretty, how do I put this? Like a neutral standpoint for them. Yeah, it's a slower game as Paris kills Stallone. Maybe not as slow. Like, okay, I'll eat my words a little bit there.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of tough, and we're immediately turning that into a Gold Fury. Kill Cam Kenny's around the corner. I saw an Ares steal gold yesterday. Can they do it today?
This is a new day here, but we'll see if Kenny can do something. But over the wall, the steal from Inferno. Centaurus Snipes will steal the first Gold Fury. Bet you didn't see that one coming, did you?
Oh, I literally did not. Well, we talked about how this Chiron's able to do a lot of damage over the wall. Well, whoop, there it is. But can you survive this?
Okay, the Aegis force away and the shell, so both relics pulled from duo lane. No escape in response. Does force beads away from Kveka, but it won't save Buffy, who doesn't have the beads. But going in for more, Kveka wants this fight. Finds the knockup. Inferno's dead, and Kenny could get melted down as well, but Kenny says, I've got chains, I'll take this fight. But the wave will make sure that Kenny has to back away. You don't want to fight in the middle of all those minions. Kveka is able to get one over. Well, I guess that's an even trade, right? Kill for carries?
I mean, if I'm WoA, I'm taking that trade every day of the week. I got the freaking Gold Fury. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Like, let's be so real. And that is a really good play, I think, from Warriors of Albion, just because the way that the game kind of started, it was one of those games where you could definitely find yourself in a pattern of you lose a little bit here, you lose a little bit here. Are we showing up to this, guys? What are we doing? What's going on? Inferno says, everybody pause, everybody stop. We stole a gold. We're not out of this. We lost game one. Not a big deal because we're going to win game two, right? Lock in, gamers. Be sure to eat before you're set today. I don't like you when you're hungry, but you got to be hungry for what comes next. Now that WoWa has this slight advantage, we got to find a way to push it.
Okay, so in the mid lane, the knockup didn't land through. Displacement immunity for Kenny. One thing that throws me off here is the Avenging Blade pickup from Inferno. That's a lot of strength, a lot of health, but what does it really give you? Aside from that, I thought Kveka was going to find something there. There are debuff prots, so it kind of acts as the totem of death, right? I think it's what this Avenging Blade pickup is for. But is that a smart investment considering it's just mono-a-mono for a while?
I mean, look at it this way, Mort. You hit somebody with your auto, you follow it up with your unmissable masterful shot, you just shredded away like 7% protections. Right? Shoutouts. Dueling gank.
kill. Disperse, finds the knockup, but Centaurus for immunity. Arrows land. Okay, good kill. Great job, Steve.
Dub. Lock it in, right? This Avenging Blade does quite a bit, I believe, for Chiron specifically, because he's able to utilize it really well. I mean, note that it says attack, right? And that is where auto plus Masterful Shot really comes into play here. Also really good for following up on being able to get those Masterful Shots off when you have that Centaurus, right? And then that second effect, when you... Thank you, Nova. When Debuff God is in jungle or heals for 5%, the stacks become twice as effective. So if you catch out Kaveka in the jungle, if you run into Sunprod in the jungle, if Kaveka heals for any reason whatsoever, boomba. Now you got even more shred. So really good pickup from Inferno, good early power spike, does well with what he wants to do.
You know what I'm thinking also too is, well, I guess I'm thinking about a kill happening here in solo as Inferno, well, sorry, Snatty takes to the skies. John rowing extremely low. We'll just land on the wave and call it from there, because around the corner with Sunprod ready to fight. I'm now thinking that Masterful Shot's +1. When you get so much attack speed, your Masterful Shot applies multiple on-hit effects. So the Masterful Shot applies that too, not just from its own damage, but the multiple on-hits. Maybe that low-key is ball. That makes a lot of sense now. Multiple arrows, multiple on-hits, multiple stacks. I mean, one Masterful Shot applies to multiple, but a gank over here in duo lane. Stewie rotates over. Kaveka reads the room. Great wards will give him vision.
I do like the way that Stewie's moving across this map. Kaveka was a problem child last game. Let's focus that guy down, right? Let's make sure this on her does not get to play the game. This dual lane between Kilkenny and Inferno has looked really good every time I've seen it put up on the screen. Let's try to win through that. So I like this change of pace here for the Warriors of Albion. But it does seem that Kaveka has kind of grown wise to the antics. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, well, egg on my face, I guess, right? So making sure that we vary the ganks, that we show up and get some sentries over in that left side to keep Kaveka entirely in the dark is really what I want to see from WOA here. Just keep the pressure on. Don't play the Food Fighters game of letting them do whatever they want to do and letting Sunprod do whatever he wants to do. Make sure that you are able to establish a presence on the map and be threatening somewhere.
Sunprod looking to threaten Snatty over here in solo, but yet again, Snatty is just aware of these antics and doesn't seem to care, doesn't seem to mind. Say, you know, even if I do lose brands, which I won't because they're not up yet, it doesn't matter. Like, you're not going to kill me. I'm Thor. I'm just Thor. Come on. You're going to kill me? Yeah, all right.
I mean, Thor walks into the wave. You know what he says? I'd love to hammer. He throws that out. You know, he gets back to safety. Kilkenny again. Left side. We're ganking this on her again. Forces the beads, but that's what you need.
Throws the chains out. That is a really long chain. Is that on purpose? Wait, Centaurus snipes, lands 2 out of 3. Masterful Shot thrown as well, but won't kill Kaveka. But there's a fight between the junglers, Sunprod and Stewie, duking it out over here. Just now showing up as well as Puppy. Displacement immunity is definitely going to help Stewie right there. No knockup found, forcing the ult away from Stewie, which probably saves his life there. It's kind of like a beads if you think about it.
Kind of. Hunbots right behind. Stewie right behind them, though.
Okay, Sunprod looking for a stun through the overhead smash. No escape, forced away, does pull one. Hostile Puppy is yanked, but in goes Stewie straight for Sunprod, and oh my god, that's a whole lot of damage. Sunprod barely alive. The Belch of the Gods finds a stun on one, but around the corners Paris, so the numbers game favors Food Fighters. Even though they're very low on health, they could try to fight around here, but nah, they're gonna play it safe. That's the smart thing. We'll grab our camps, we'll grab our buff. As Stallone starts to burn on Gold Fury, that's a great way to utilize the fact that Food Fighters have backed up entirely.
Snatty proxying a wave over on the right side too means Thor could rotate to this fight if Food Fighters want to go in.
Way down to 15. Food Fighters show face, but can they steal it back? Can they steal the gold again? Sky falls out to secure some space. And look at Kilkenny in the front line zoning for just a bit. Stallone is able to secure the Gold Fury. That's what was second of the game. And going into the back line is Snatty looking for one more kill. Maybe that's not enough gold, right? Maybe we want more, but instead Snatty takes it back, plays it safe. We got the gold. That's all we wanted, right?
WOA has a WOA-kin up from last game. Okay. We got exactly what we wanted there, Morton. We played it really, really well. Warriors of Albion continually putting pressure on this left side, keeping Kaveka low, making sure that they don't have beads, they don't have ult. We keep that kitty cat in check. while we're doing that, it forces Food Fighters to answer the aggression from Warriors of Albion. But a great turnaround in these fights where Inferno is able to get a bunch of damage off and Stewie playing their life so effectively, making sure that they don't get caught out and picked away, keeps this Kali very threatening. So with those elements put together, Woa is able to control the left side of the map. That's not going to help you, though. Getting soloed out by the guy you put so much into to keep him down, that is the opposite of what you want.
I saw on the minimap Inferno's little god avatar get like janked slightly to the right, and I thought he just got pinned into a wall, and then he died. That's exactly what happened. A good pin combo from Kveka secures the kill, and now Kveka wants to take down the tier 1 on the left side. The first tower to fall in this game. Kveka is going to get it. A bit of extra gold for the pockets of Kveka, but Kenny's around. Does Kill Camp Kenny take a fight with Kveka? Realistically, does this work his way? I guess we'll have to see, because he's defending that purple buff, but the pillar pin knocks Kenny away. So I guess Kveka doesn't want to fight that fight.
Not really worth the time or resources for Kveka there to box out an Ares, because if Kveka decides to stay there, Stewie was in that left side area to be able to make that rotation if it came to it, right? So good moves there from Kveka to just kind of back off.
Fighting over the Oracles, we want vision on the next gold. Food Fighters can't afford to lose that third gold Fury, so they're prioritizing the Oracles, and that's the smartest thing they could do right now, right? Because that third gold really hurts a lot. Losing 2 is already enough because they're down on a little bit of gold, but not much. Granted, the 2 gold Fury difference, it's a very minimal gold lead. If anything, Food Fighters are up on gold, regardless of being down 2 gold Furies. How is that even so?
Just means that they've been keeping their farm game up pretty effectively. Plus, keep in mind that Kveka just was able to solo out Inferno. There's a tier 1 tower dead, so that's going to offer quite a bit of gold differential towards both sides. But now Stewie again in that left side. Is this on her getting pincered?
This could be bad news for Kveka, hiding behind their purple buff. Stewie wants to steal it away, but Hostile Puppy's walking over to secure it and make sure everything goes their way. But again, we're at the 15-minute mark. That means there's a lot of objective to fight over. The Queen Naga on the right side next to the Pyromancer, which both are up. Party Rockers in just a minute, and the Gold Fury is about to respawn. This is where macro game starts to show. Woa have had good macro so far, but can it continue throughout the mid-game?
I mean, we just pushed a crazy amount of waves on the solo side. Snatty was backing by their Phoenix, so this Thor has time and space to play if they would like to get involved on any of the conditions over here. Oh, hello.
Inferno's in a bad way, dashing forward to maybe find the knockup through Gideon, but Kveka says, you know what, I'll just take this kill and I'll go back to base right after. No reason to push that out. Let's see if we can make our way over to Queen Naga instead, because both teams have the rest of their members over here by it. 4-on-4, more or less, but Woa back up. Food Fighters are dominating the area a little bit more so. Woa are going towards mid lane, but oh my god, the blink stun combo took a lot of health away from Paris after a chain. The shackles from Kenny locks Hostile Puppy down for a moment. That is a lot of low health bars for Food Fighters.
On her being able to get that 1v1 against the Chiron means that Kveka is able to rotate towards this Moonlight Queen Naga, and it's dead. Food Fighters sneak it away. What can Woa do in response?
Maybe find a kill on a Puppy. We did use No Escape to pull Puppy out, but nobody there from Woa is even looking at Bacchus. Instead, we're looking at Kveka. Down they go. Salone gets the kill, and in a bit of trouble is Sunprod as well. Snatty looking for one more hit, but not going to be able to find it. The rest of the fight unfolding by the bush, and Stewie's very low, forced to use their ultimate, rowing in the back line, looking for a fatal strike. We're looking for somebody in XC range. Can you hit the execution? Is it even needed? It's going to get body blocked by Kill Camp Kenny as Inferno takes down Puppy. John Rowing still wanting to fight this, but he's all alone by himself, and nobody from Food Fighters feeling that fight. Woa are still looking to party though, but Paris melted Kenny. Snatty took Paris down, so that's an easy trade, but shutdown goes to Snatty's pocket. That's a massive bit of gold hitting his way. So overall crazy skirmish by Fire Giant, but the fact that Queen Naga went the way of fighters, no, this is still going. Sunprod went in for more, looking for revenge on Snatty, but Inferno cleans it up with a huge bit of damage in such a short amount of time. What just happened?
I mean, that was messy from start to finish. It was just incredibly scrappy from Woa to say, all right, we lost the Moonlight Queen Naga. I'll tell you right now, we're taking your lives, we're taking your shoes, we're taking everything that we can there, bud. Thank you very much, right? And Food Fighters fought into it, kind of goading them, being like, yeah, we'll take that fight. We're feeling good about this. And there was kind of a shift point right around when Sunprod was trying to get away, where it was like, whoa, no, we do not want this, actually. We're going to try to get away. Kaveka has been soloing on Inferno every given opportunity, but I'll tell you something right now. If this Chiron's able to get in a team fight, very different situation.
Gold Fury getting burned by fighters, but Stewie's looking at it. Throws the boomerang out, but it won't quite do enough. Kaveka secures the Gold Fury. That's Food Fighters' first one of the game.
Good response there from Food Fighters. I mean, hey, got to be able to find what you can when you can, but WOA's been grouped up now, ready to run it down in any direction. We're 5 strong.
Good damage onto Paris through masterful shot. Snatty's in the air, looking for an engage. Tier 1 tower seems to be the focus, but instead we'll look for Sunprod. It looked to take him off the map first. Skyfall thrown from downtown, but a little bit off the mark. Hits the backboard, but not quite in the net. That's fine. We got the Tier 1 tower. That's the most that we could ask for WOA, as Snatty continues to zone on the right side and be a bit of a distraction while the rest of WOA are running it down mid lane. Food Fighters watching from afar, but can't find an engage.
I like the way that WOA has been playing this so far. When you know where your wins are, you have to go and take them. But now Food Fighters is ready for a re-engage. There's the Ares ult.
No escape pulls 1. That's bad news for Hostile Puppy. A quick death after their yoink. So 1 for WOA, along with the gold, well, not the gold, the Tier 1 tower, along with a bit of extra gold throughout the map. They might not be up a whole lot on kills, but I feel like their macro play has been pretty nice.
I mean, the fact that they were able to get both the towers in the mid lane breaks this map wide open for Warriors of Albion to be able to kind of look for maybe some invades around their jungle camps, or a Tier 1 tower on left side feels a little bit safer knowing that if they rotate from mid, they have to do so pretty much by their Phoenix, or if Food Fighters wants to get their mid wave, WOA can kind of keep theirs back, manipulate it a bit so that Food Fighters have to put themselves in a place of not ideal safety. This means Pyromancer is easier to look at, so really good stuff. WOA's been playing the map pretty solid so far. But Food Fighters is always able to sneak something out, right? We've been able to get that Moonlight Queen Naga. We walked away with the Gold Fury for free. Just gotta make sure that you don't let Food Fighters steal a snack off the table.
20 minutes into the game, 7-6. And there's a very minute, but their gold lead for Warriors of Albion. They're also up only 1 kill, which means that this game can go either way, right? We're at a more neutral standpoint, much more neutral than the last game. Kaveka goes in to maybe uneven the odds and find a kill on Snatty, but Snatty feels fine with just kind of putting on the Duke shoes. You're not going to pin me today, that's for sure.
Yeah, not gonna happen. He even had the spin if it really came to it, but now we're taking a look at this Pyromancer. Snatty has their ultimate. WOA's fight's been looking good. I like it for WOA.
They're burning the Pyro quickly. Snatty's around the backside, but check out one. That's got to be John rowing in the backside, looking to maybe get active one way or another. Snatty leaps down and lands onto Sunprod's head and distracting in the back line. Everybody from Fighters is looking at Snatty, but they're not burning him down. Meanwhile, Hostile Puppy's in a bad way. Look at John rowing, who hits the XC. Down goes Kenny, and a Great Desert Fury provides a lot of damage for Food Fighters. The Fear No Evil is forced away. Sunprod is almost able to kill Stewie, but forced onto the ult. Stewie's continuing to dive, but can't walk away with anybody's life. Down goes Stewie. 2 members of WOA are dead. Food Fighters are very low health, but could grab at least this Pyromancer.
Warriors of Albion CC was only really connecting on top of tanks that we just did not have the ability to shred through at this point.
Agreed,
Neither
yeah.
Stallone nor Inferno nor Stewie have penetration online, while this, Achilles character not only has their armor on, but also with the Spirit Robe, a Pridwin, a High the Nemean line, very, very difficult to actually kill. And we're yoinking them closer to us, knowing that we cannot take them off the board. So Food Fighters very much earned that Pyromancer when WOA was just not able to find the targets that they were looking for. Also, it felt like we just weren't ready to respect what Food Fighters was capable of there in that moment. I said before I liked it for WOA. But if we don't play these fights in such a way that enable us to take a look at the On Her, to take a look at the Merlin, then there's just no point in pulling tanks until we have the penetration. That's the long and short of the story.
Gold Fury getting burned by Food Fighters now, and only one member. That's Kenny looking, but Stallone rotating over, throws the Skyfall down, but it's a little too late. Sunprod secures the gold, and that's a big thing for Food Fighters. They're now up 2K, and they're even on Gold Furies with WOA, so things are on the up and up for Food Fighters. Their team fight's looking a little bit better. Their macro play a little bit better, but maybe we find a pick on John Rowing here as revenge. He does find a stun, but Rowing is so tanky. Does WOA ever kill John Rowing?
Not until you get Titan's Bane Upshard. It's just not going to happen. And we're really looking at this Newt to be the character that can do it because John Rowing's able to pop his 2 and get crazy fizz prots, right? So
True.
Between items like your Totem of Death and your Upshard, that's really how you're able to get your damage off on there. But at this point in time, it's gonna be a little bit sketchy until we get to that point. Also, Stewie's he was level 50 a second ago. He's 16 now, but still head and shoulders behind Sunprod, and this Kali is a late game hyperscaler. We gotta get her to the late game so that our jungler can be a person again.
That's true. That's very true. We've got to get in there one way or the other. We'll see how their NBH goes. As Natty's out of position and forced into the air, gets taken down to half health, but we'll play it safe. We'll back towards our side of the map and then recall back to base, heal up, and then we'll try and fight over something. And there's quite a bit to fight over. There's the Ancient Fury, which is about to spawn. The Fire Giant is up and ready for the taking. Pyromancer did get burned a little bit earlier, but it's about to respawn as well. And Party Rockers in 70 seconds. I mean, there's a lot of objectives to fight over. What should Food Fighters prioritize?
All right, Fire Giant's got to be the big one, right? It's kind of the objective to get at this stage of the game. I mean, Ancient Gold Fury isn't bad because it pretty much guarantees you the tier 2 towers, but if your Food Fighters and your fights have been going pretty well since that turning point around Pyro, Fire Giant pull seems to be the obvious answer to me. And with WOA split up the way that they are, it'll be a tough fight going in.
And it's getting burned. Fire Giant down to less than 10k. Snatty distracting on the right side of the pit as the rest of the team goes in. Sunprod finds a Fear No Evil, does Fear 3, but running away right after. The Skyfall thrown down to melt Sunprod and gets drained quickly. Kaveka kills Stewie in the process, so down both junglers as Killcam Kenny's getting focused down. The Belch is going to find a stun, followed by the belly flop, barely knocked into the air, but the Xe just got denied, but it's still okay because Kaveka kills Kenny. Down 2 members, their support is dead. WOA have a very low chance of getting this FG, but check out Inferno on the left side of the map burning that Phoenix, but John Rowing just barely got there. Can he defend it while the rest of Food Fighters burn the FG? He can.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, Achilles is there to keep him away. WOA put in a lot to keep Food Fighters off of the FG, and I think went a little bit too hard because there was a conflict of what the goal was. Was it to stop him from doing FG, or was it to try to super hard win the fight? Now Stallone, caught out of position, is going to be burnt away, and that all but confirms an FG for Food Fighters.
Yeah, that it does. Stallone fell over the other side of the Pyromancer. Thought they could be slick and kind of hide for a second. Skyfall wasn't up to steal it, so maybe looking for a stray 2 or something, but couldn't find anything. Got found themselves instead. So down Stallone, along with everybody else for WOA just about. Pyro falls as well. Obsidian Dagger in pocket for Kaveka and a Runic Bomb for Hostile Puppy as they fight over the Party Rockers, but not much fight to be had. Looks like it's just a party for Food Fighters.
Hey, they are in the house tonight. Immediately after this, Ancient Gold Fury. I would like to see the tier 1 tower in the solo side trimmed before we go straight to that Gold Fury, but even if so, like, it's still not a bad pickup at all, especially when Food Fighters have this FG for, you know, well over 3 minutes at this point, able to back and finish up some pretty solid items here. I mean, you've got the early forms of penetration for Paris, along with the Divine Rune, so that answers a lot of the healing that WOA have drafted for themselves between like Chiron and Snatty's passive. The erosion for Hostile Puppy, fairly interesting, because it's really just a direct answer to Snatty popping the shell. But if we're picking up erosion, which to me is very niche and maybe not entirely useful, it just means that we are so far ahead, or we feel so far ahead, that we are really pinpoint counter building against one person that we think is the issue.
Skyfall to push off a couple members of fighters who are looking for this tier 2 in the mid lane. Stewie's hovering around the corner as well as the rest of Food Fighters are burning down the left side tier 2. Snatty by himself fighting against Sunprod, and a non-level 20 Sunprod is still taking it to Snatty. Snatty's in trouble. He's running from Sunprod. He doesn't want this fight. He forces Aegis away, looking for the stun. There's just no way Snatty comes out on top, but throws the 3 around and looks to teleport away. It's going to be an inevitable battle from Snatty and Sunprod. Meanwhile, here in mid lane, No Escape doesn't pull anybody as Sunprod inevitably killed Snatty. In the mid lane, Bird will fall. This left side Bird is getting targeted. It is not weakened, but there's a pusher on top of it. Warriors of Albion just looking along as the birds melt away. Their Titan room has been opened up. Their next push from Food Fighters could be endgame.
It's a very tough spot to be in if you are WOA, because our area denial comes in the form of our Newt or maybe our Chiron in terms of these Phoenix sieges. So Food Fighters have no such reservations to really worry or care about those things, because our tanks are just really big and our damage is even bigger. So at this point, Food Fighters are trying to pick up the last few scraps on the map for gold and get ready for another push. You've got Fire Giant for another 70 seconds. So there is still plenty of time to make another bigger play if you are Food Fighters. If you're Warriors of Albion, at this point, we're just kind of hoping to group and really execute on this dive. I talked about a 3-stage dive earlier, and I haven't seen it. I think I've seen it like twice so far in this game, where we have layers that go in, that pull the resources, that make the final part of the dive significantly more effective, but we really haven't had a chance to see that. And at this point, Food Fighters with their 4 beads don't even feel pressured to pick up a talisman in answer to what Stallone, Stewie, Snatty, or Kenny can do. So it just makes me worried about the position of WOA here as Food Fighters just kind of clean up the map.
As Pyromancer is getting burned away once again. A free runic bomb. This one goes to Kaveka, who also took down the Pyro himself. And Food Fighters are just kind of like looking for whatever they can. Really, they've got so much off the map. They got tier 2s all across the board. They're looking for the last one over on the right side. 2 dead birds for WOA. Food Fighters are just getting everything they need to secure this next FG and let that one be endgame.
Hanging around this right side. You do have the angle here from Snatty, but it's just there to harass more than anything. You hear a pyro bomb go off, so 1 down for the Food Fighters, 1 to go. They don't have fire for this push, but WOA doesn't have all their people. If Food Fighters looks for an engage here, it could get sketchy for WOA.
It definitely could, but we're looking for some stuns from Snatty. I think there's some response to be had. That 3-stage dive is definitely possible still, and how it can be executed, I think, now or never. While FG belts are down, this is the go button for WOA. If they ever want to take a fight, now's the time. And looks like we could be grouping forward. Kenny's able to find a cripple onto Hostile Puppy. Snatty's going into the air to look for a stun onto the back line. Skyfall in response from Stallone. We're looking to pick off Puppy first, but able to juke away the stun in the back line is John Rowing, who's distracting very well, but might fall in the process. No Escape, able to find 1 pull. Satara snipes from downtown, looking for John Rowing, but we can't quite find him. Desert Fury throws away Stewie into the trash. Now down 3 members and make it 4. Kenny and everybody else on the side of WOA really tried for a good fight, but they couldn't quite make it happen. And gonna go for this 3rd bird, and no, we're gonna end this game. Screw the bird, we're looking for the Titan, and Stallone's the only one left alive with no ultimate, but high hopes. But can those hopes get you into this next game? That's not good. Food Fighters get game 2.
Thorol, Noodle, both of them off the mark in that last engagement. You really needed those to hit to find the damage that you wanted. And it felt like we were split a little bit there too in trying to figure out who the targets were, who we wanted to kill. And whole time this is happening, John Rowing is an Achilles in the back line, being just incredibly annoying and unkillable. So there was really just no opportunity to follow up. We had, the dive that just never had a chance to really operate there. Even though it was looking really good for WOA in the beginning. I said it. WOA has WOA kin up, but kind of forced to put back asleep as he got clobbered over the head by Food Fighters yet again.
Well, it's not over yet. As we said earlier, it is a best of 5. I mean, there's still a chance. There's still a world where WOA can find 1, 2, or even 3 wins back to back to back. But how many can they get? That depends as we get on later in the day. Can Food Fighters find the 3rd win they need to make their way to the finals, or will WOA have something to say? We'll find out in a few minutes after we take a quick ad break, but we'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
They know the Jingwei's present. They managed to sidestep Pursue the Weak. Excellent work by Dishonored, but they still step into the persistent gust, and that's enough to get them off kilter. Can they find the last kill? One last tremor. The shield splitter takes him out. Dishonored's a mage officially, but a heart slash is in response. A phantom shell to keep them up, and now it's King Oceans who's made their long-awaited arrival. Bari makes sure that Port Degree is safe, and the rest of the Angels aren't. King Oceans consumes their soul at the ult, but Aurora's now present. Justin, who's dead, and Hydra can only watch as Oceans tries to pick up the remains.
And Dest is on 1 HP. If you get hit with this, Hydra's gonna kill you.
Execute, but amazing blowback from Dest. The Rising Dawn nearly able to make away with their life. They finish the job. Hydra cakes down the Bari, turns tail to look for Aurora, the root, the solar flail, the abduct. Labubu gets the shutdown.
Ultimate up, lock and load, Raw!
Who are we sniping? Is that the play?
Kaboom!
Gonna hit, but no good for a kill. Dest has the beats. Dest might die. Just standing there. Whoa, look at the damage from Dest. Trying
Holy-
to hold on underneath that
Help him!
Phoenix. Dest will get away. Axiom Speed respawns. There is no Tusky available for the Artemis. The whole team is here. That's a clone, Speed. That's a clone. Get away. The land from Sot. The damage. The stun. The death. The deicide. The crew kill 5. Respawns coming up. The Titan at half. Port Degree, first one here, looking for damage, looking to stall, keep the game alive. The Titan's still alive. That's
Good
a kill
kill.
on the Mario, bro. The game's
One more.
not done yet. Sticks J on the respawn, brings down Sun. Gonna look over at Wingman Ghost, and he's good as dead. The Titan lives, and the Banshees live on.
The game is saved, and we get to watch another.
House for generations to come. Thanatos in the sky. Apollo knocks on the doors of heaven and gets through the pearly gates. But now they're going to get an up-close and personal demonstration. An amazing nature's grasp. The Scepter of Dominion. Everyone freeze. A taunt. A cage. Can it keep him alive? No. Facehead's done.
Just happened. There was just a crazy combo Port Degree in the face of happened. The 2-man madness, and Styx finds Tagmir.
They're finding more than that. Golden gets their wings stripped. It's a triple kill near deicide. Happen spawns back only to see hell before him before SnixJ escorts him through the door. A quadra kill, a deicide, wailing banshees bust the boo house.
What the hell did we just witness, D'Lo? I mean,
Okay, here's the demon from the SPL, a world champ. What do you got? Paul on the defense pushes SnixJ away. He's got to go back. The rest of the team still chasing out in the right lane. They're chasing the nuke back. There's only 2 members to defend, and that Titan's down to a quarter. Paul can't chase SnixJ. He's got to stay aware, Musey.
Panic Enders never prosper, but Wailing Banshees could just go for it anyways. Port Degree lands upon nobody. It's going straight to the newt.
He got him when the newt lands. Is she dead? Oh no, she's not.
Axiom!
Axiom Speed's gonna trade out. That Titan
He
is
misses!
low. Oh, from Dash, the Titan dies. The Wailing Banshees take the set away from the crew.
I am beside myself right now. You cannot, dude. Disgusting, actually disgusting. The perfect chain of events for the Wailing Band.
God, please don't let Tagmir steal this. Guys, please don't let Tagmir steal this. They're letting it go into his hands. Boo House, steal it away. Guys, I beg of you, stop handing objectives over to him. He is already well fed enough. At this point, they're stuffed.
I mean, Aurora is the veteran experience for that team, but that play is just on him. That is unfortunate.
Strong, all members up. Sut goes aggressive into the back line, looking for Axiom Speed. Can't find it. Now caught out. Skyfall gonna bring him closer.
There goes Paul.
Paul, Volcanic Lightning dives into the back line. Paul, no kills so far. Has to readjust. Typhoon with a knockup. Mario Bros starts off the killing with a kill on the port degree. Now everybody splits up yet again. Sut under the tower with Rabbit. Sticks J gonna go down to the reach hit. Now over the wall. Aurora stuck in no man's land, and backup cannot get there to bail out the Fenrir. The dog is put down. It's a double kill for Rabbit, and 3 members are dead of the Banshees.
Health bar's pretty low, Sot and Paul, but I don't think they care too much about that.
To pop that health chalice to get some health back, but I don't think they're going to get here in time.
Skyfall, at the very least, do they decide to pop it is the question, and do they get it? Boo House manages to steal it away somehow, and Vi snipes Snicks J's life as well for takeaway. An easy win siphon. Dest is dead. Aurora is no more, and the Skyfall's coming for you, buddy. That's gonna be trouble. Double there for Vi, and a near deicide for Boo House in 7 minutes. Hero play, they need one auto, but it's Vi who takes it for Boo House. But can they survive now? Vi can't, their first death, but it's a sacrifice that will inspire the rest of Boo House for generations to come. Thanatos in the sky, Apollo knocks on the doors of heaven and gets through the pearly gates, but now they're gonna get an up-close and personal demonstration, an amazing nature's grasp, the scepter of dominion. Everyone freeze! A taunt, a cage, can it keep him alive? No, Facehead's done!
Just happened. There was just a crazy combo port degree in the face of happened. The 2-man madness, and Sticks finds Tagmir.
They're finding more than that. Golden gets their wings stripped. It's a triple kill near deicide. Happen spawns back only to see hell before him before Snicks J escorts him through the door. A quadra kill, a deicide, wailing banshees bust the Boo House.
What the hell did we just witness, Deal?
We did it! We scaled! 4 stacks for Rage!
Benny takes the route to turn around. Tuskie's out. Land down from Benny. Damage good. Kills are there. Double kill for Benny. And the rest of Kitsune. Clean Boo House. What a playback from...
They know the Jingwei's present. They manage to sidestep, pursue the weak. Excellent work by Dishonored, but they still step into the persistent gust, and that's enough to get them off kilter. Can they find the last kill? One last tremor. The shield splitter takes him out. Dishonored's a mage officially, but a heart slash is in response, a phantom shell to keep them up, and now it's King Oceans who's made their long-awaited arrival. Bari makes sure that port degree is safe, and the rest of the Angels aren't. King Oceans consumes their soul with the ult, but Aurora's now present. Justin, who's dead, and Hydra can only watch as Oceans tries to pick up the remains.
And Dest is on 1 HP. If you get hit with this, Hydra's gonna kill you.
Execute, but amazing blowback from Dest to right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to OSL Olympus Smite League. We're here to watch over the Athens division semifinals Food Fighters up against the Warriors of Albion to see who will make their way to the finals. My name's Morty, joined here by Musi. We've got Novashark behind the scenes, and Musi, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling good. It is a best of 5 that we have here, so we do get a game 3 between WOA and Food Fighters. So WOA have one last chance to get that reverse sweep going so that they can put it all on the line for this big cash prize here, Morty. $2,500 is what they're going for. But you got to get a seat at that table. You got to win this game first.
And if you are interested in maybe competing for some of this moolah yourself next season, you can scan the QR code on your phone or whatever fancy device you've got, or make your way over to the Olympus Smite League Discord where you can sign up and compete. And even if you don't compete at the top, I mean, there's divisions for all levels of play, right? If you're just somebody who wants to get involved with competitive one way or another, we know that there's, the higher end divisions that we watch here on Smite Game. There's a lower level divisions like the one that Musi plays in. And you can, any level of play, it's a fun time.
Listen, man. I love being a Delphi doggy. I'll be a Delphi doggy for the rest of my life if I could have it that way. I'm not even capping. I never want to move. My division, my home. Hoorah! Anyways, this division, though, where the good players are, Athens. And it is looking like Food Fighters are walking away the better players. Well, we just haven't really had a chance to execute on anything that we've seen them draft so far. And the pickings are going to be even slimmer. As you can see down there, the Vault bans, 20 gods off the board, unable to be drafted. And with 6 bans in total, we are really grasping at straws here.
26 gods that cannot be played in this set. So maybe Food Fighters' lack of meta picks could be their downfall here. That could be the case. Maybe Warriors of Albion, the fact that their god pool could be deeper, this could help them out tremendously as we get later on into the set. But one thing we do know, WOA have to win to keep this set going. They cannot afford another loss. Everything we saw in the past 2 games, it's been, back and forth. I feel like WOA has never been 100% down and out until it gets to that, awful late game phase where it's like, well, okay, it's not looking good. They've had a lot of, ups and downs, and their ups look good. Sealing away Gold Fury as Chiron looks super smooth. A couple good fights here and there, defending their base. I think that their odds have never been higher. It's just we got a couple things to work on.
Yeah, it feels like the strong points of Food Fighters feel a little bit stronger than the strong points of Warriors of Albion, at least currently. But there have been signs of life with this team at every twist and turn. They always look competitive. They always look like they could turn it around at a moment's notice. We just have to see the follow through. I promise you, in these games, if Warriors of Albion had maybe like 2,000 to 4,000 more gold in their pocket in total, these fights become very, very different because they are just that close to be able to round it out. But so far, what's off the board, Morty, right? Pele, Osiris, solo lane, shot. Meanwhile, Food Fighters take away the dual lane of Jingwei and Kerberos. So it is slim pickings for the rest of what's around the table. I mean, for mages, I'm thinking of Hakate, still very, very viable, still very easily looked at. Neath could be good, but not Discordia and not the Daji.
One thing that I have my eyes on here, Hu Yi was banned away in the first 2 games.
That's
Not
a good
this
shout.
one, because a
one.
lot of
I've
players
got
can
my
play
eye
this.
on it. Nice,
Inferno being one of them. Yeah, that's a good grab for Inferno, because I don't want to give that to Sunprod. Sunprod loves the Hu Yi jungle, and he makes it look so good. Let's take that pick away from him and take a high value pick ourselves with this first one. Very nice pick.
I like that call out from you, Mort. That's very good stuff, and immediately snatched up there too. His Ho Yi, you can even see Stewie play it in the jungle, right? He's got great clear, really good ganks as well because of Mark's stun, Mark knockup. The Suns do great to kind of act as an ability that can force shell. You know what else we haven't seen in a minute? I mean, Odin used to be really prominent. I know that he's not nearly as good as he used to be, but the value could still be here, especially into a Baron and a Cupid.
Let's liven things up, shall
Baron
we?
and Cupid. Okay, that's a lot of healing for one lane.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I wonder if, the burst damage output from Hu Yi can topple that healing. Okay, back and forth here. I don't know. I'm a little on the fence about what is stronger, the healing or the burst damage, right? What outweighs the other?
Well, it depends. Is Hu Yi able to get their stun off and kind of kill them in that time? If Cupid or Banner are able to walk away after that stun, I think it gets a little dicey for the Hu Yi. But if you're able to kill them in that time, well, hey, not too much that they can do to answer into that. And while a Ymir isn't an Odin, it is still a character that forces shell and has a lot of walls. Oh my goodness, we are building a composition with so many walls, the best walls to be had. Ho Yi, Ymir, Kabrakan. I mean, you better not walk towards the choke point. You are not walking away there. There is just so much damage to be had here as well. Kabrakan's really good in solo lane, just has a lot of solid matchups for everything that's left on the board. And Ymir, Ho Yi, if they're in the dual lane together, that's not bad. That's a lot of early pressure.
Musi, I hope he didn't make plans tonight because we might be going to game 4. There's a very good shot. I don't know. These
I like that
are
first 3.
looking. But our response is Zeus, which also suffers to the walls.
Finally,
And
a
Gilgamesh, who
challenge
can
worthy
go
of
over, but
Gilgamesh.
that's not a lot of front line. I think their front line between Gilg and Baron is not. It's not the the demonic front line that John Rowing was with the Achilles, right? Or with the Ardio. I don't think Gilgamesh provides that unless Sunprod's playing Gilgamesh.
Potentially. I mean, I know Sino was playing Gilgamesh jungle in Prime not too long ago, so we know it's out there. I mean, the technology for Gilgamesh aspect in the jungle, I think, has been rising recently. I've known some players that have been picking that up for themselves, so that makes me feel Gilgamesh will be headed towards the jungle. This Baron could flex either solo or support.
Purify this land.
Okay. So Tsukiyomi is a good one as well, because that forces another relic. Now you're torn between Phantom Shell and Aegis. Usually you'll see one beads pull one way or another, but honestly, against this comp, yeah, there is a 3-second stun from Frost Breath from Ymir. That stinks. There is a stun from Hu Yi as well. That also stinks. But other than that, I don't even see a reason to get beads. I think we focus on specifically Shell and Aegis. And where does Scylla go? Is that Salone with the Scylla in there?
I hope not. I really hope not. In Scylla support is one of those picks at this stage in the game where I think only certain players are really able to get the most out of it. But Scylla in the mid is just not as strong as some of the other options that we have available, whereas Kabrak in mid has been on the up and up, right? Yes. Kabrak in mid has been something that we've really been reaching towards, so I'm kind of hoping for a Kabrak in mid, Ymir solo Scylla support. Is that what we're looking at here? I'm a little concerned. I'm a little confused. Maybe. I mean, the pieces are here. I'm kind of interested to see how it lines up. Also, Gilgamesh, probably not going to solo, right? Because Sunprod has the Loki in hand. So, or Gilgamesh not going to jungle because Loki will be headed to jungle. So Gilga solo, you know, sure, I suppose. Gilgamesh is not terrible. This is what Game 3 really does to a team. It would seem like you are really at the bottom of the barrel. I watched a Delphi game go to Game 5. We were picking picks and combinations unbeknownst to man. Like, it can happen. It can happen to you, right? So you got to be careful. I'm really curious to see how this Gilga plays, and if it is going to be going to solo or if it's a Loki solo. I almost wonder if I like that more. But Loki's one of those characters that is also very quietly good right now, kind of like a pseudo Aladdin pick where he could just kind of run away with the game if he gets big enough.
So this, you're telling me this could be Ymir versus Gilgamesh solo in the Big 26? Nope,
not quite.
It's Scylla mid, and that's I figured because Snatty loves the Kabrakan pick, so I figured that. Yeah, it just made sense, right? I didn't want it to be either. I was kind of on in your boat, right? We were kind of riding together, like a romantic ride through the rivers of Italy, right? I feel like we were for a moment.
I can see it in my mind's eye. Yeah.
But now we're looking at this solo matchup. Oh, I'm sorry. Why are we getting carried away here? Morty and Musi in the booth for semifinals. Athens division, OSL. Warriors of Albion fighting up against Food Fighters, and FF just need one more dub. What would need to win this set to keep this game alive? Musi, we got a lot to cover here.
I mean, let's just start with the obvious, right? I'm going to gripe about it for a little bit, then I'm going to leave it alone, okay? This Musi guy is not necessarily a believer in Scylla mid. I don't think she clears as well as the other mid laners. I believe that her ultimate cannot really hit the same way that it did in Smite 1. We could have picked Takate here. I think that would have been a lot better. All right, gripe done. We're moving past that. Hello.
Oh, hello. That's first blood. Snatty just killed John Rowing.
Second gripe, Gilgamesh solo. You know, like, not my favorite, especially into a Kabrakan. Gilga feels like he's a character that needs to be on top of you. Wait, hold on. Kill Kenny.
Okay, another kill? Nope, Kenny's okay. That's fine. Low health bars for both Puppy and Kaveka. What other gripes you got, Muse?
I mean, I got Inferno dashing in with the knockup, but looks like they're going to be...
Oh, man. Kaveka was about to gripe for a minute there. A lot of griping being done. It's been a negative cast to start things off here. A minute in and a lot of griping from me and Muse.
I'm a big griper. Yeah, it is.
Gripe.
Big love griping over here. It really grinds my gears. The fact that Snatty is just going kind of crazy, dude. Rowing can die again here. Oh no!
Rowing could die again, but missed the one. So Snatty has to back up.
Dangerous.
Snatty's probably griping about that. That was server lag. What's the gripe there?
Dude, I'm feeling really griped right now. This sucks, man. Like, just got a lot to complain. 0% body fat, full of complaints. You know, like, oh dear.
Inferno, oh, he almost stole the buff there off the bounce. I'd be grabbing if I were Inferno. Why wasn't he low health enough for me to steal that? Kaveka is very low on health. Why am I so low when I've got healing? Kaveka's griping about that. A lot of griping being done. And Paris takes a decent amount of damage, forces Aegis away. We got body block from Stallone, but the chain lightning just did so much. You don't group together if you're up against Paris. I think that Warriors of Albion forgot that for a moment. Stallone and Stewie said, okay, we'll keep our distance from now on.
Oh, now Stallone's getting jumped on by the Loki. Sunprod's got damage there, but I mean, I'll tell you what the Scylla character lacks in wave clear kill potential, she makes up for in her ability to be able to get away. So, you know, we've got that going for us at least. But now that the excitement has kind of died down, we can take a moment to zoom out and kind of go over what we're used to seeing, right? Relics here for both sides. I mean, you do see the shells for both players, solos and supports, so we are respecting the walls, which is good. Snatty actually getting ganked on.
Yeah, this could be bad news, but look who's there as well as Stewie. It's 2-on-2 over here in solo. We want to find a kill first before we go for the burn on Brands. But walking away is Stewie. Says, I've had enough of this. Paris and Stallone duking it out. Inferno killed Hostile Puppy under the tower. This who you pick it's worth
Solo.
the first pick. What with the wall? Oh no. Finally burns the wall down, and John Rowing's okay. Or Sunprod's okay, but John Rowing not so much. We'll go for the Brands after this, and Woa invading on the purple buff. Ooh. Good damage comes through from the Frostbite basics, and an arrow from Inferno almost took down Kaveka. This is a very aggressive start.
Yeah, we're just going back and forth here. You just want to do like a 1.5, you think, between the two of us, if it's going to be like this the whole way through? Because Food Fighters is playing like they want this game to be over, and Warriors of Albion is not going quietly into that Dark Knight. We have points of strength on both of these teams. I'm looking at this duel lane. Kill Kim, Kenny, and Inferno looking really solid with their start. Snatty, very strong on this Cabrakan, but this Loki-Zeus combination can get nuclear very, very quickly, and the Scylla takes so long to get online that could be the winning point here for Food Fighters.
Oh my goodness, Shards of Ice. Huge damage on the Hostile Puppy. Inferno's there as well, high on health but low on mana. Puppy wants to walk forward because they've got health to work with and mana, but that's okay. Inferno's backing things up. Kenny's extremely low. We'll let Kenny go back. We'll try things out later on. 3 kills in 4 minutes. This is an aggressive start. A little bit different from what we're used to, considering that usually when it gets later on in a set, that's when teams realize, let's chill out a little bit. Let's play back, right? We don't want to make any unnecessary risks and then lose ending the game, right? Then we lose the set. So they traditionally play safe. Woa have been active in the first couple minutes.
I like that too from Woa, not really giving up, not really going quietly. Mid lane, Paris getting chased out. You know, there is so much scaling to be had from this Woa team, especially with the Tsukiyomi, the Scylla, the Houyi. But they've got good tools to be able to stay relevant early. Snatty, especially on this Cabrakan.
Yeah, finds a good stun and does a lot of damage as well. I think that Snatty 2v1s this. I think he does not care about a game. He could care less.
Yeah, he's just big chilling. I mean, there's the wall. Here's the damage. He's dead.
Oh my goodness, Snatty. But Sunprod's in trouble as well. Stewie showed up into the jungle to secure another round of Brands. And oh my god, the damage from Snatty is just cranking numbers. 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, bomba. That refraction shield just does a ton of damage, and you get a proc from your bombas, which each separate cast of that refraction shield. So you stun, you hit your auto, you do your second ability, you hit your auto, you hit your one, which has the bombas cudgel proc built into it. So it's just good stuff. That's a good wall.
Oh no, Shards of Ice does not find a kill. A gets forced away, and I'm a Monster off the mark does huge damage onto Stallone.
Wow.
You walked next to Kenny and you died for it. The chain lightning will be the downfall of Stallone in this game. Paris is putting on a clinic with the Zeus pick.
I mean, Paris has been looking good this entire set, just completely overtaking Stallone in this mid lane, and unfortunately, Kill Kim Kenny is now paying the price.
Frost Breath does find a stun. Assassinate forced out to find another stun. Kenny is in real trouble. Sunprod gets the kill. Does this mean Gold Fury? No, it doesn't, does it?
It could. I mean, hey, you got 2 people dead. Stallone is still trying to get back to their wave to clear it before they can go anywhere else. It falls to Inferno to stop this.
Gold Fury down to 2K. Inferno hovering down to 1,000. Who can steal it? The ult thrown down, and oh, Inferno stole it yet again. 2 games in a row where Inferno steals first Gold Fury of the game. That's huge. Way to keep WOA in this.
Somebody get this guy on a team. This Inferno guy looks pretty good out there, but we know that. Yeah, you just got to make that magic happen again and again. I told you, the strong points of this WOA team, their solo side and their duo side look so good.
Yeah, it does. Piercing Moonlight thrown out to go for Sunprod. And very, oh my god, a lot of damage. Shards of Ice to finally get the kill. A great wall from Kenny. The cow chop slowed down Paris, but the Lightning Storm thrown down in response. Does a lot of damage on to Stewie. Puppy peeling in the back line. Rowing just showed up as well. Can Stewie find one more bit of damage needed? Yes, they can. Stewie gets the kill, but falls right after to Rowing. But what are WOA going to do right after? There's Party Rockers to look at in mid lane, and the Firebrands are going to spawn up in a second as well. What will Snatty do with what he's given?
I mean, you're going to go back to farm and lane. You're already big. Time to get bigger, right? That is what you have to do. But man, Stewie threading the needle there to find the pick onto Zeus, because when you know that your health bar is so low, there's no chance of escape. You have to try to trade out. Really good stuff. Kill Cam Kenny. What a wall to be able to keep the Zeus locked in there. Really good play from the Gamir. Love seeing that.
And those 2 Phantom Shells might not be enough to get rid of the player-made walls that WOA have between Cab and Ymir and from Huyi. There's just so much to worry about for fighters, but they're going to maintain control over the mid lane beacon. 2-man stun thrown down and a crush in response. I'm a Monster forced the Aegis off of Paris into the front line of Sunprod with the Flurry Strike zoning away Stewie. Meanwhile, on the left side, the Meteor Shower thrown down finds a stun onto Kaveka, who's looking to fight back. They've got the Sunbeam Bow. This could be a decent fight for Kaveka, but instead we'll let the wave push up and hide back under it.
Dude, Inferno is kind of nasty with these ricochets. More than once this game, my mouth has dropped from what Inferno goes for. And like a hair it misses, or it connects, but it hits the Aegis. Like, very, very scary stuff. I understand now why the Hoi was banned every single game, because, oh my god. You got to keep this guy off that pick. He looks very, very nice. Warriors of Albion, another firecracker start for them. In this game, we saw it like this last game where we were starting to build some momentum. Now the question becomes, can we translate it, right? We stole a Gold Fury, that's good. Moonlight Queen Naga is going to be coming up in a few minutes here. Really want to see WOA just get ready for that, right? We got to hit some power spikes. We got to finish up some items, clear out our jungle camps, get some wards over on that right side, and be careful solo.
Be careful. Okay, the clone thrown down, locks Snatty down for a minute, but Snatty hits back with the refraction shield. A pusher going straight towards Snatty means this fight might not be so easy considering the wave situation. That's why Sunprod's gonna hold on for just no. Sunprod goes back to base. I don't blame him.
Yeah, he's getting out of there. I mean, Snatty's got the bladed boomerang plus the glad shield online, so a lot of cooldown. Plus, you activate that boomerang, takes 4 seconds off of your ability cooldowns, and it's like a 12-second cooldown for your first ability, so you get a lot of stuns there.
Goes a love thrown down, followed by the Meteor Shower from Inferno.
That's
but
a
the
good
ice wall blocks him off. What an amazing wall. Kaveka rude, nowhere to go. Kenny's on fire with the ice walls.
Dude, he is as cold as ice. Meanwhile, Fire Giant Pit, Zeus Salt connects, Stewie trying to get away, forced to use the ult.
And Life of the Party in response takes Stewie into the coffin. Sunprod makes sure of it. A good kill for Food Fighters. Walling off Snatty. You're not the only one that has walls. Snatty's in a whole heap of trouble. And Rowing is tanking the tower, but Snatty fights back with one. Throws down the shell. Good lord, Snatty's on fire, but finally gets shut down. I'm a Monster does a good bit of damage, but doesn't quite find a kill. Paris is extremely low, but Hostile Puppy providing a little bit of space, so Paris can get out easily. And not much to grab after either. The Pyro hasn't spawned, Firebrand's not up, but Gold Fury is up, and it's getting burned by Inferno. They get it for free.
I mean, hey, everybody else is on the opposite side of the map. Ice Shards, kaboom. So really good way to split the map from WOA. And Snatty is looking disgusting on this Kabrakan pick. Just a ridiculous amount of damage from this solo laner. and it only goes up. I mean, as the game progresses, Snatty's going to get more and more cooldown on, and it's going to be very difficult to play into him, especially for a character like Zeus, who just doesn't have a great way to get away from this bracket. All Snatty needs is something like a Magi's, or upgrade their shell so that they can pick up a beads, or just enough survivability to not care about a Zeus stun or a double Zeus stun if we see his Staff of Mirrodin pick up. So Zeus is going to have a tough time. Hostile Puppy could have a tough time. You know, John Rowing, Sun Prod, they have ways to get away, but if they're down, you're cooked.
And who might be cooked is Kenny, after taking a bit of lightning damage, but seems to be okay. Only cooked a little bit. We're lightly charred. Kill Cam Kenny continuing to walk forward, hits an ice wall, frost breath off the mark, lightning storm thrown down in response. A good stun off the detonate will make Kenny extremely susceptible to death, but that's fine. Sunprod goes for Stewie instead. Able to hit the blind reset. A bit of poison damage kills Kenny as well. Oh my god, Sunprod is on fire with this Loki pick. But the clone thrown down, a body block from Stallone in the Fields of Love in response, and check out Kveka around the side when you least expect them. There's Kveka, 2 dead, make it 3 for Woa. That means Pyro is going to be free here.
Who invited this guy? Little baby shows up at the front door with the Fields of Love, and you're just like, okay, I do not remember inviting you. Mid T1 is gonna fall down because Kveka's got the Braggy Sunbeam combo that opens up the map for Food Fighters. Not only that, walking away with that Pyromancer, and now we're about to deathball on top of Snatty.
But can Snatty handle this fight? The refraction damage on a Puppy is massive, and Snatty's continuing to fight back. Rowing is still there, doing a bit of damage onto the brands, but Snatty still breathing just fine. Might not have a blue buff to work with, but high on hopes for maybe killing Rowing. Oh my god, that refraction damage is nuts.
It is quite a bit to deal with. A 2-level lead, and Rowing tries. He's got the gumption. He's still going for it.
That he is, but you just, every time you think you have something over Snatty, refraction shield, 300 damage. Like, it's just crazy. With the meteor shower thrown down, Kveka seems to be in a whole heap of trouble. The piercing moonlight takes Stewie right to his front door, and he kicks the door down. Kveka's done. Sunprod is able to get a double kill. Down go Inferno, and Stewie about to make it a 3rd. Down goes Kenny. The Gold Fury isn't even up to be looked at, but that's fine. Food Fighters will farm the map and get what they can.
I mean, it was unfortunate positioning there. Really great walls, but Cupid slipped through. They've been on that diet plan recently, that Weight Watchers. So they were able to kind of squeeze between the Gold Fury wall and the Ymir wall as it came up. We are bombing a tier 1 tower. So we are feeling ourselves. That's crazy. Good stuff there from Food Fighters.
Hey, I mean, if you've got the bomb, you know, make room for it later. You can only hold one, Muse.
Yeah, I mean, look at these consumers. You got Health Chalice, you got Baron's Brew. I got a babe. That's a hot pocket right there. That's a hot potato. I'm trying to get, I can't walk through TSA with that one. Like, get it out of here. I'm trying to fly to the finals, and we can't hold it, right? So, Moonlight Queen Naga's gonna be up around the corner, and Snatty is trying to solo John Rowing again. Honestly, I believe he could at any given moment, so that's scary.
Under the tower, Fields of Love, able to find a Mez, and Stallone is in trouble, forces out I'm a Monster, throws it back for a whole bunch of damage onto Paris, but we're still going to fight for the Queen Naga, which has just spawned. Kenny's walking towards it. Snatty could rotate over as well, but it looks like Kenny's the only one from Woa as the burn continues. Around the corner, Snatty looking for the kill onto Kenny, and he's got the damage to do it. Throws the flurry strikes out, and an ice ball rocket jump will save your life because Assassinate was ready to go on the pull of a trigger. Now we're looking at Snatty, who I don't know if he's tanky enough to handle Sunprod. Look at that damage go with the wall thrown down from John Rowing. Consigned Spirits brings the team forward and a life of the party to ensure the kill, but a 3-man stun followed by the ult. Snatty is fighting for his life out here, and he takes 1 with him. 3 ultimates invested onto Snatty, while Inferno kills Paris on the backside through the meteor shower, forces another shell, but it won't save your life. This is wild what Snatty is doing here. Food Fighters are in control, but Snatty's doing his best to make sure that nothing is free.
Warriors of Albion could take a look at the Gold Fury here, knowing that Food Fighters put so much into Snatty, and that's why they're going to go for the pull. Big fan of that. Snatty, you are right. Snatty's been putting in a ridiculous amount of work from solo lane, where you are stranded on an island and kind of hoping that people come bother you in order to get a lot of leverage out of your lead. But because of the fact that Food Fighters have been sinking so much into Snatty, John Rowing is starting to catch up here, which is, you know, a little dangerous because it means that Snatty just won't be able to be as effective. And the rest of Warriors of Albion got to catch up to where their team captain is, right? We mentioned it before. This is a team that scales really well towards late because of their picks, but I don't know if they'll have a chance to see it. Pyromancer.
Salone wants to steal, but a little bit late through I'm a Monster. Paris is able to grab it. Runic Bomb in pocket for Sunprod. Man, you are not wrong about those consumables. They've got full consumables across the way. Everybody wants a Baron's Brew, right? I don't blame them.
Hey, you know what? It's in stock. It's in season. Not too shabby, right? Sometimes you just want to sip on the brew. I'm going to hold on to the rituals and all this other nonsense. I'm big sipping, big drinking, my chalice and my brew, right? It's incredible that Food Fighters are doubling up on their refillable, you know, health pots and still control the map in such a degree that makes you think that they're warding like crazy when they are physically incapable of doing so. How are we losing the information game, right? Like, it's just kind of nuts to me.
Yeah, I mean, there is the curio, but other than that, I mean, it's just, what, one ward every 90 seconds, and that's enough to get the vision that Food Fighters need, and the rest is just off strictly ball knowledge, right? We're double cupping for a couple members of Food Fighters. Well, there's a lot of objective to fight over. Still FG has spawned, Gold Fury respawning, and I mean, it's a pretty intense game here. At 18.5 minutes in, we've got a 2K gold lead for Food Fighters, even though WOA have 3 Gold Furies. We've seen this game before here, Muse, where Gold Furies just don't seem to matter when it comes to gold, but those pips will pay off for WOA.
And Food Fighters team fights have just been looking really solid when they're able to execute on top of them. Think about where Warriors of Albion's leads are when you look at these slash lines. It's with Snatty and it's with Inferno. It's not with where I want to see them, to be honest. My mid and my jungle, who need to have the most gold and experience in the game to be able to accelerate themselves to that late game state that where they can really start to get some damage off, especially when you're a Suki and a Scylla. You need to get there, and it feels like they're just 2 steps behind, you know, Paris and Sunprod, who are looking incredible. I mean, Sunprod's 10-2. Of the 13 kills for Food Fighters, Sunprod owns 10 of them and was a part of at least one other one. So it tells you that this Loki is just really running the map right now.
Yeah, death is around wherever Sunprod is, but Rowing seems to be in a bit of trouble. Stewie looking for a slow, can throw the couch drops down and is stunned by Snatty. Locks Rowing in place, tries to throw another wall, but the damage isn't there. Rowing is dead. 3 members of WOA is what it required, which means that tier 2 in mid lane for Warriors of Albion might fall here, but instead Food Fighters take a step back and realize, okay, Gold Fury, Pyromancer, Fire Giant, a lot about to spawn and, you know, can be taken as Kaveka dashes over to the left side. Kenny's looking for a pick.
Can he get there though? And is there even anybody around to follow up? Not sure if it's worth investing too much there. Skavik is able to make their getaway. We were able to find a pick. Woa was, but weren't able to find anything after the fact, right? Usually when you look for a pick at this stage of the game, it's because you want to be able to look for an objective right afterwards, but just didn't come together there. Now we're really going in deep and using 2 ultimates, but it looks like Hostile and Puppy are able to get away, so that doesn't bode well for the next fight for Warriors of Albion, who are really looking at Inferno and Snatty to make these kills happen, and neither of them have ultimate now, so it's a little sketchy.
Not only did they use ultimates there, but they didn't even pull the Phantom Shell off of Puppy. Puppy just ran around the walls. That kind of hurts. If we would have got a relic, okay, maybe Inferno's wall can do something big, but I don't know. What do you say? Look,
Baker's pulling gold again. Well, there it is.
There it is. It's burning and it's gone. That's Food Fighters' first Gold Fury, by the way, which is better than none, right? They're gonna move out of Fountain a little bit more. You know, next time they need to respawn after a rough fight, they can get back to Steel maybe a little bit easier. I don't mind the fact that they're grabbing Gold Fury, especially when there's like no risk, right? High reward, no risk.
I mean, it's less that I don't mind that Food Fighters is getting it. I'm just surprised that multiple times across this set, Warriors of Albion just kind of let Kaveka go do gold. whenever they feel like it, right? We don't have any ward coverage on the left side. We know that Food Fighters cannot ward because their consumable slots are super full. Why don't we have more control over the information game? And when we see that Gold Fury goes down, what is our response except just kind of sitting on our hands for a bit and waiting for Food Fighters to show back up so that we can do the Fire Giant dance proper? Now, Food Fighters is able to pull Pyro in front of you, and we're not really responding. It comes to the questions we were talking about before. Game 1, Woa was awesome at it, right? Food Fighters tried to pull gold. I'm gonna go stand next to you and stop you. All right, what happened to that? Where the answer to the question has been, we're gonna roll over and let you do it. So if you're gonna let that happen, you gotta show up in a big way for these team fights so that Food Fighters doesn't walk away with more.
We're circling around the Pyro, but it doesn't get dropped. Warriors of Albion will push them off of it for now. And like you said, I mean, there's a lot of back and forth in these fights that I don't mind Warriors of Albion. You know, they're not farming as much, right? They're grabbing a couple camps here and there, but they're down on levels, but at least looking to defend objectives. I think showing up and, you know, they're trusting the gold and XP they have now to lead them through these fights. Oh my God, the Pyro just disappeared. It's down to 1,000. It's gone. Did you see that burn damage?
Yeah, it was just out there in a moment. Hostile Puppy, or not Hostile Puppy, excuse me. Kaveka's got their Titan's Bane online. Obshard's right around the corner for Paris, so we have the ability to shred through these objectives. And this is part of what I was worried about for Woa, right? We gave up Gold Fury, and we just gave up the Pyromancer. At what point do we put our foot down and say, you can't have this? The obvious answer is Fire Giant, but, you know, it's about making that statement less than it is about contesting the gold, if that makes any sense at all. It's the mental game. It's making sure that you can check your opponents so that they just don't get to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You need to do something about it sooner than later, because if they keep getting all these small objectives, right, you know, Pyromancers, Gold Furies, or whatever, they're going to be caught up on Gold Fury pips. They're going to have, like, you know, they've already got 2 Runic Bombs. They literally can't afford room for 1 more, so they're going to have to use 1 pretty soon. That is so crazy. We love Baron's Brew around here. Apparently, it's pretty good. I haven't tried it yet.
I mean, it's got a nice, like, it's kind of fruity, but, like, in like a nice way, you know what I mean? You know, like some drinks, you got these cocktails, and you get the pineapple juice, and it's like, yeah, pineapple, and you're like, okay, step it back, right? No, Baron's Brew is very, very mellow. It's got a little, kind of gets you in a little bit of a haze, right? So I can appreciate that about the brew there.
Yeah,
Food Fighters can too.
A bit of feedback for the next LAN we have. Hopefully somebody from High Res is listening. Instead of having drinks at the bar that are after like other games, we could have like Smite drinks, right? Like Baron's Brew is an easy one, obviously. I'm thinking like, I don't know. I guess I can't think much more on it because we've got kills to talk about. Stewie just wiped away John Rowing.
So now we have our pick. We have our pick. We go for fire. The Fire Giant buff, Smite drink is just Fireball.
Yeah,
Anyways,
well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
We'll think about it later. Bring
We'll
us to
come
game
back
4, Woa, so we can talk about it more. FG getting burned, 9K on top of it. Food Fighters lurking in the shadows. A crush thrown over the wall. Fields of Love, in response, followed by the Meteor Shower. Ultimates across the board as Sunprod melts down Stallone. Life of the party as well. Sui goes for Paris, and Hustle Puppy's down. 3 members of Food Fighters, and Kaveka by himself in a really bad place. He's going to get picked off as Sunprod, lurking in the shadows, will have to run away for now. You're the only one left alive as Warriors of Albion will burn down the Fire Giant. That'll be their first one of the set, I believe.
I mean, Sunprod could defend this technically, hanging around right below them. The question is, can they find anything? I mean, Loki doesn't have ultimate, so it'll be hard to get in there. But finally from Woa, I have been looking for this all game. You find your pick, you find a good lopsided fight to abuse, you go for it.
Okay, he opened the door. It's down to 3K. Rowing just showed up. It might have went in a little bit too early. Tries to throw the clone down, and he stole FG. He just stole FG. Sunprod has ripped the Fire Giant out of the hands of Warriors of Albion. What a massive play from Sunprod. Snatty's on the chase to make him pay for it, but Snatty wants that fight. No, Sunprod wants that fight. The Flurry Strike's thrown down to deal damage onto Snatty, but Snatty's got damage to follow through with a Refraction Shield. Assassinates a hit, a dagger right into the back, the spine of Snatty. Sunprod has just done something humongous for Food Fighters.
Oh, gosh, that's really frustrating if you're Warriors of Albion. So much work. The fight was so good. You only lost alone in the process. And then Runic Bomb and a Loki. Ah, man. No Food Fighters, I mean, they didn't even get, the only one who has FG buff is Sunprod, but God, it might as well be the whole team with the way that he's moving across the board. Ancient Gold Fury torn away. Food Fighters will find their second gold and their first Ancient to be able to defuse the tier 2 towers. And I mean, what went wrong? The whole time that John Rowing is distracting Warriors of Albion, Sunprod was able to sneak behind, throw down the bomb, get some damage in, and just walk away. Like, it was just unfortunate what Sunprod is able to get away with.
And it's funny that you mentioned earlier, what do we need to put our foot, when do we need to put our foot down, right? And I think Woa might have waited a little bit too long. But not doing it earlier lets multiple runic bombs favor Food Fighters, right? And that was just one use. Hostile Puppy still has another. If they want to go for a big push, you still have a bomb to work through. If you manage to break through a tier 2 and then go for a bird, that bomb will be even more helpful. Sure, they don't have that third Gold Fury pip, but with pushers going down lane for Woa, you still have a little bit to break through, but they could have a decent siege potential. Feels a ball thrown down, an ice ball to block down Paris, and another. But look, it's Stallone. Just, I'm a monster at Kaveka. Down they go, and Piercing Moonlight into the back line. We're looking for a pick, but Stewie's extremely low. Puppy just took down Stewie. Inferno Aegis in place, and a Frostbreath Stone finds 2, and a Shards of Ice, a whole bunch of damage. Look at Sunprod, could easily get picked off, has to assassinate away. Snatty just took down Paris. Puppy's cornered. Snatty gets the kill. That's a double for Woa, and they're marching down the left side of the map from there. Paris, Puppy, Kaveka all dead. Rowing and Sunprod left to defend. Woa have 4.
Dude, 40 seconds until Paris and Puppy are back up, but tier 2 towers are still available. This push from Woa doesn't end the game, but it does keep the pressure off their back to make further pushes in. So, oh my gosh, though.
Okay, pushing on this bird. Rowing throws the wall down, and a lot of damage too, but I'm a monster. Back up again. Rowing able to create enough space so Sunprod could take down one. Sunprod goes for another. He still has FG, but Snatty's gonna take him down and throws the ult to make sure that Sunprod dies. Kaveka kills Inferno, though. A huge shutdown for Kaveka, but now we gotta go for Snatty, but Snatty's got damage. Snatty wants this fight. The last bit of mana used for Snatty won't save his life. Kaveka gets another humongous shutdown. Kaveka's alive and well, defending the bird from falling. Food Fighters have made sure that their spot is still in this game. This is a crazy back and forth, Musi.
That felt similar to mashing your action figures together and going like just going nuts on it. Because what in the world were the engagements from either of the sides there, right? Food Fighters stumble into Warriors of Albion. Both teams look at each other for a second, point, and then go, hey, you need to die, actually. You can't be here, right? Great wall from Killcam Kenny, sets things up, separates the fight. Stewie, again, able to live a little bit longer than you might anticipate because of just the ultimate, the Warriors Axe, Blinks, good stuff. Food Fighters walk away with the Pyro in the meantime. And Warriors of Albion piece that fight up, and they look really good. They move on towards that Phoenix. Unfortunately, you're playing against Sunprod. And while John Rowing dies in the process, I'll tell you what this Gilgamesh can do. It's jump on you and be annoying, right? Pop your Nemean, make it hard to fight him. And Sunprod's just able to clean up. Kaveka spawns in time to stop Inferno and Snatty from getting too much further in. Able to get the damage off. Now we're back to square one again. Now we're back to Fire Giant fights, right? I love Smite 2. I'm in this. Like, it is what I live for. We're just mashing heads together.
But keep in mind, too, that if they wait long enough, it'll be EFG. It's going to be Enhanced Fire Giant here in about a minute and a half, and we still have 2 rooting bombs to work with because after the whole transaction went down, Food Fighters got another Pyro. They've got 2 rooting bombs again. There's still one for Puppy, and now Paris has one. So they can steal FG yet again with another pyro bomb, because Warriors of Albion have not defended these pyromancers. They're not giving it the respect that it deserves. That, or they just don't have the resources to defend it. You know what I mean? So it's just they're in a rough spot where they're contesting these big objectives very fine, and they're, you know, still securing their spot in fights, but these little objectives where Food Fighters are just, they seem to come out on top of. They're rotating and doing all this stuff. Well, now they're going to burn FG. Surely this is a bait, right?
This is a bait for a fight. I mean, watch Hostile Poppy, look at who he wraps up, but look at Sunprod's positioning as well. We want this Loki to loop around the backside and find the squishier targets. Food Fighters, though, I mean, you call it a bait, and it is one, but how do you... Uh-oh.
Snaddy just blinked and walled, but
where are we going?
Into the back line and just got melted. What did Rowing just do? But that created enough space. Life of the party forces out shards of ice. Now Kenny is going to have to throw a wall down, but will it save his life? The meteor shower as well. Check out Sunprod. No, my goodness, but he has to leap away. Oh my goodness.
Dude, that was scary. You Sunprod like a heat-seeking missile towards Warriors of Albion, who were kind of scattering like dust in the wind, trying to get away. John Rowing just jumps in there. And for what? The whole team, he's like, turns around like, let's get him, guys. Like, I wonder what the communication there was. That was interesting to see. But now we are here at EFG. John Rowing's gonna spawn in a few seconds. This could be a moment that Woa could strike at EFG and try to bait the fight sooner rather than later. We don't know if John Rowing has their TP yet, though.
We don't know. What we can find out as soon as he spawns here in just a moment. Meanwhile, the EFG burn has started. It's slow, but it's steady. It's there. Kenny's taking it away and losing a bit of health, but he's completely fine with that. Snaddy is zoning on the left side. Stewie throws the Caltrops down to create a bit of space for the rest of the team to burn it down. But check out Sunprod on the right side. He's opened up the door. It costs a bit of health, but we push Woa off of the EFG, which is exactly what FF wanted. Instead, we'll have to 4-man split push on this caustic buff, and I mean, I don't know, they don't feel comfortable getting it. John Rowing's back up. They didn't find their opportunity.
Yeah, the timing is just a little bit off. You could settle for a pyro though, especially because Food Fighters are, you know, 3-4-man splitting some back camps. It's kind of like holding hands when you go to the bathroom. Just make sure you got your little battle buddy there. Pyromancer goes to the Warriors of Albion, so it's another Pyro Bomb to help confirm an objective, which at this point, the way that this game is going, I want Pyro Bombs to confirm this EFG, especially with the fact that Sunprod stole the last one, right? Like, no way, I'm never doing that again, for real. But look at this again. If I had a nickel for every time Kaveka was able to split push a Gold Fury by themselves, I would be able to quit my day job. Like, what?
Would you, though? Well, I think you'd get bored after a while.
No, I mean, I need the health insurance,
but... Ancient Fury is taken down. Kaveka gets it. Meanwhile, Party Rockers in mid lane. Woa's got control of it right now. Food Fighters have Kaveka rotating over. This means they could hit the gas pedal. There's a lot of ultimates available, but is this worth fighting over? The ice wall thrown down. John Rowing goes straight into the backside with Hyde of the Nemean line. And it really lets him tank so much. But meanwhile, Sunprod is distracting Stallone, and down goes Inferno. Snaddy's low as well. 2 members of Woa are dead, and in the backside is Stewie, all by himself. He's dead too. They just turn around and melted him down. 3 members of Warriors of Albion are dead. This EFG looks free.
Warriors of Albion completely split up in that fight. Said it before, say it again. I will tell you this about John Rowing on this Gilgamesh. They can jump at you, and it is irritating to deal with if you are on the back line. That's exactly what happened, and a good follow-up there from Sunprod. So much put into John Rowing, who's just being the boogeyman running at you. Lets this Loki get in his damage. EFG, bomba, gone, scooped up. This is a death sentence for Warriors of Albion. The one saving grace that they have is that they still got their tier 2s up, right? Also, we all saw that, Paris. Don't even try to run from it. We knew it happened.
Okay, so they're pushing down mid lane. That tier 2 was weakened by Ancient Fury, but they still have to get through a full health bird. Oh my god, assassinate straight for Stallone. Okay, this is bad. This is really bad for Woa. They're down Scylla and now down a bird, but they're just gonna go on the side lanes. They take down the tier 2. Can they end here?
I mean, they should. You have EFG, right? That is the end the game buff, but you just want a couple more picks, I guess.
Oh my god, we're going straight for Stewie. And Snatty
look,
falls
couple
as well. But Frost Breath just killed Sunprod. But wouldn't that save the game? Life of the party in an ice wall. Followed by the lightning storm. That's an deicide in the blink of an eye. Food Fighters are going to the finals. Oh my god.
Well, all right. Bombs are off the mark. Doesn't matter. Food Fighters cleaned house this entire set. And Sunprod wants to put himself in the position. You know, this guy has 3 bolts already. He's trying to grab a 4th. Oh my goodness. I think this Warriors of Albion team was looking really good throughout the season, especially looking at Inferno and Kill Cam Kenny. And you obviously have to give it to Snatty as well. Looking really, really strong out there. Unfortunate. Food Fighters mid-jungle combination was just overwhelming in this set. I mean, Paris was just putting the belt to him. Sunprod is Sunprod. What are you going to do about that, right? Like, it is just a crazy movement across the map. The damage that they were able to put in ultimately gets them across the finish line. Woe was looking really good at certain parts of the game. They had solid team fights early. Inferno was able to steal multiple gold Furies. But at the end of the day, the overwhelming presence of this Food Fighters team just ran over. It doesn't matter that your Gilgamesh is 2-8, right? Who cares? My Loki 16-4.
Just incredible gameplay. Not even just this last game, but all set long from Food Fighters. I mean, there's been times where it looked a little rough. Maybe some mistakes were made, but Sunprod, what a legend. Kept them alive with that FG steal, and then the rest of the game just fell apart from there. Unfortunately for Warriors of Albion, your season is over, but it is what it is. You know, you put on a incredible clinic, you know, beforehand. They had a great season up until now, but Food Fighters are going to the finals. And if you want to see that, it's going to happen here live on Smite Game, 3 p.m. Eastern next Sunday, a week from today. So you do not want to miss that. But for now, today, that's all the Smite that we've got, and that's what they're going to be fighting for. Just so you know, $2,500 for a grand prize. The winning team for the grand finals will get that, and $1,000 for second place. So at least they guaranteed a little bit of moolah for their next game.
I mean, who wants to play for second though? Am I right? You gotta get to first. If you're Food Fighters, yeah, I mean, I don't think they've dropped a set so far. They're looking really good, really strong. And the WOA team, in my mind, was the team that was really going to give them a big headache. So to see them overcome this WOA team is a really good stride here for Food Fighters.
Well, that's all we've got for today. Thank you to Nova Shark for being behind the scenes. Thank you to Muzi for joining me here in the booth. Very much appreciative for everybody at High Res and Olympus Smite League for making this happen. But most importantly, thank you to every single viewer that tuned in for this broadcast. It was an awesome show to be a part of, and we cannot wait to see you next week to conclude this epic saga. We'll see you then.
Go! No shortcuts, no safety net. Every step earned in sweat.